I'm sitting down.
Whoa.
Mine's not on, so it wasn't.
Can I talk now? Ooh.
Hello?
These guys holding up the show.
Don't hit your mic.
Are you muting him so they can't hear him?
No.
Need a mic for Aaron.
He's got one. It's sitting up there.
Hey. Calm down, Michelle.
Camera 1, camera 2. Camera 1.
All right, guys, we'll kick this off in a minute. We're waiting for Aaron. He's got to have the precise spot for the microphone.
I'm working.
He's got to make sure you can't see it, but you can hear him. So he'll be ready in about 93 minutes. 92 minutes.
Hey, keep him a little low.
Did I have to use a little boy's
Yeah. Keep him a little bit low.
at the last minute?
Can we put that closer?
What?
We have enough cord to go closer? We're getting set up, guys. We're a little late getting some stuff done.
We're still
We
working.
got bikes headed to Bike Week.
We're still working.
We're still working.
Yeah, literally.
Is it live?
Yeah, we're live.
So
Mike had to use the little boys' room again at the last minute. All day he's been using
is
it.
there an inside joke on the YouTubes I don't know about?
Hey, you're not on Instagram, so we just talk shit about you
Yeah.
the whole time.
Hey,
Oh
I
my
only
God.
started that whole Instagram thing to get all this stuff going, and then once it was going, everything funneled to Moonshine. I'm out.
I'm out.
I hate social media.
Any tunes yet to activate and deactivate RDRS? Ooh,
You're the
super close, guys.
ultimate terrorist on social media. You do a good job.
Hey, let's not get him going right now. We got work to do. Next thing you know, we're talking about idiocracy.
Troll.
Ooh, look at that guy.
Nice stuff.
It's my hope.
I'm jonesing.
Hey,
We used to be able to see. Can't
Only if you guys could see what they're doing right now, it'd be epic.
this is what we do all day. We're like, hey, get the screen close, so they turn it around the other direction. So all we see is the back of a
That's nice. I like that. Where'd you find that cart?
Look at that.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Even Aaron can see it now.
Yeah. All right, I'll leave this little more.
What's up, Sang Park?
Is that's a middle finger? It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fellas from SoCal. Hell yeah, you got bikes going to Bike Week.
George Mercado.
What happens?
Oh, look, Holgate. We're Jones if you're about to get done.
Ashley,
too.
here you go, boss man. That's for you. I believe so. I believe one of these bad boys are on your bike. We can't get the small ones anymore, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. That's nice.
But neither can anyone else because we bought them all.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're set. We got our screen.
Music or keep the
Did
music
Shane
on?
take the microphone? That's Bob.
Is the music too much in the background? Someone,
yeah.
please comment. Is it good or bad? Nice. Yeah, thanks, Ashley.
I'm ready, Brad.
Oh, he might be saying nice about his manifold, though.
Brad.
Probably.
Oh, Brad. Hell yeah. I was just talking to Brad a couple minutes ago.
Brad?
Yeah.
one's
From
Brad?
the Fine Canada.
He redefined
Just
Canada.
put it
He
on
is
light
from
in
the
the background.
fine country
Oh,
of Canada.
it's like what?
I left out one word.
It's like right there.
Hey, Ashley, call the phone number. Let's see if we can get you on the line.
Brad,
Is it, do I
call
have
in.
it? Do I have it
Brad
framed?
just changed over to the MHP.
Is this the phone number?
So he's
Music's
into some
good.
Horsepower.
Turn it back on.
And Brad, this is what they look like. This is what you got right here.
Well, yeah. So there's the Harley Extreme 64, and then this is actually a 66. If you look, you probably can't see it there, but it's a little more hollowed out. And then we have the vanes in there to help that air turn the corner. It'll outflow this guy.
Well,
So-
64 is good. 66 is better.
Yep. And the vanes are there because when you have a vane and an intake around a corner, there's a problem. The problem is very, very tight corner. This turn right here is super, super tight. And the reason why is we're just limited on space in between the cylinders. So everyone's working on these and we keep going more and more. What's that?
We got important stuff going on here.
You didn't say anything about it.
Andrew Riker, how you guys doing?
What's up,
Riker.
fellas?
The wolf.
Sacramento, California, Ohio. This is crazy. This is
Knowledge
weird.
the people. This is cool. This is what had me tripping the whole last time. Is like goes by here.
I know. You're like, wow. Sounds like
keep focusing
Walmart
over
music.
here.
See, don't get me started on Walmart.
Oh, I know.
Oh, all right. I got a call,
You
guys.
and Walmart
Okay.
and Shane on Buells.
We're just gonna go for it here.
Yeah.
Call from.
calling?
Ashley Holgate, New Hampshire.
To accept, press 1.
Ashley-
to
Ashley
send a
Holgate.
voicemail,
Is that from
press
a-
2.
Holgate, yes.
Oh,
Is that what Trinity sound?
All right, I think you're on. Can you hear us?
last week.
I can.
Ashley.
All right,
what's up, man?
can you guys hear him?
Hey,
All right, say hello.
Florida boy in the house.
what's going on?
So you got a question for us
Here,
today?
edumacating.
Yeah, I wanted to see what the difference with the 131 stroker was between that and the 135.
The difference between them.
Yeah, turn it down.
Yeah.
The difference between them is mostly that is a higher dollar build because we're taking the case. Man, if you could, that bike is bagged up right here with a 135 and it's headed to Florida this coming week. But we have to bore the case to fit the larger cylinders. Real thick cylinders, deeper cylinders. Most cylinders we get go in the block 1.3 to 1.32 typically for a deep cylinder. Those are guys doing deep cylinders. That bad boy is going in past 1.4. It's going a little thicker in there, and we got to bore out the cylinder or the case, and then we're re-sleeving stock cylinders with real thick liners. Super
So
cool
it's
sight.
like from like that to like that, and like from that to like that.
Everything.
That's the difference.
I was trying to pick up the cylinders today and the pistons so we'd have them here, but Mike made me work in the shop, boxing stuff up.
Well, I appreciate everything you guys are doing to my bike. I got to stop calling you, though, because I got too much money going into it.
That's not possible.
Yeah,
We don't force you to call.
that's like too much fun. No such
Yeah.
thing.
Well, hold on. This guy right here, this is for a customer, Wadge, who we had everything in stock for right before COVID hit to build his bike. He's got a CVO. We're putting heads on them, so we took a pair of our cores, had them done, and then COVID hit. So he's had all of his parts on a shelf for over a year now,
Sitting here,
waiting.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's watching, but here's your stuff, big boy. One day.
Look at this. You guys remind me weekly of how much California sucks for motorsports.
Oh, man.
We're
Well,
sorry.
hey, thanks, guys, for everything you're doing to my bike. I appreciate it.
Hey, not
Yeah,
a problem.
man,
Thanks
a
for
pleasure.
calling in, man.
We're excited to get in your hands, boss man. Thank you.
All right, and I'll let you know as they come in next.
Well, what do you want to talk about?
Well, who got the questions? What do we have tonight? Let's start it off with
I agree.
Numero
California.
uno.
Oh,
What do you got?
And call us, guys. The number's up here. Don't be scared. It's just Mike and Aaron.
damn China virus.
Let the customers get a couple beers in them after work. Get some courage.
Kurt Cornelius, I agree. California absolutely sucks. I bailed out. Half the shop, I think, bailed out of California at one point or another.
I think half of California is.
Here's a question. What's the benefit of a 180 millimeter wide front tire setup for baggers?
Is there a benefit?
Looks.
Well, there is
Yeah,
a benefit.
I was
I
gonna
got
say.
it. I got it. If it is raining and you are cornering, that 180 might be a better setup until you hit a really big puddle, and then the skinnier tire will be a benefit. It's heavier. It doesn't turn better. It doesn't feel better on the front end. So there's no performance benefit of going to a wide tire. It's all look. You know, you want your bike to look mean, aggressive, Terminator, a bulldozer. It does the job. Turns
That's
your
it.
bike into that aggressive look, and that's the benefit. Performance benefits, the stock tire is actually a lot more
Somebody asked.
performance driven. Weights less, hugs the road, gives you all the turning you need.
On two wheels. We're not
So-
tired of you calling in. The air cleaner is actually already on the bike. Drew, it's there.
Jason DeBio says, how long does it take to complete a 128 build on a 107? I have a 2019 Street Glide that I love but would like more juice on the throttle. So a 107, the simplest route is to go from a 107 to a 124. With a 128, we would replace the rotating assembly. Either way, you're looking, if you dropped it off here, you're looking at about 2 days from drop off to picking it up after it's dyno tuned. So it doesn't take us that long. We're booked out. about 3 weeks on the schedule to get those jobs done. So if you were to make the appointment now, by the time you got the bike
Shane.
to us, it would be a 2-day turnaround.
Shane, can you grab a primary chain tensioner out of the back for me? Good one.
So I have a kind of lengthy question here, and it starts with a customer that has a 2020 Lowrider S and a Redshift 472 cam plate oil pump is S&S and a Bassani 2-in-2 Pro Street extreme ventilator air cleaner. Said it makes about 130 torque and 113 horsepower out of a 114. It kind of goes on to a little bit about doing a big bore kit, but the question that kind of jumped out at me was, how does the sleeper concept work on the Softails, which is kind of that 472 stock heads? He's got 472 stock heads, 55 millimeter throttle body, stock injectors, and just like a 128 big bore kit. So I think it would probably be more like a 475.
Well, you could do the 472. That's one of the cams that can kind of bridge the gap. There's a couple of them out there. There's not too many of them, but you're going to want to definitely upgrade the injectors. The stock injectors won't be enough. But that's a great setup to get started and then be able to do it later. You'll suffer a little bit on the bottom end while the bike is stock, but once you get the big bore kit on there, you have to lower the compression down a little bit with the 472 cam, but that's a great setup.
And just asking about the exhaust, that 2-in-2 Pro Street, how long will that hold up? How big will that hold up to?
I'm not familiar with that pipe. 2-in-2.
Bassani 2-in-2 Pro Street.
Oh, that'll handle that just fine.
Yeah.
We got one on here too that said, in our opinion, the new Rockford Fosgate system, the Harley system, I'm going to assume compared to the Boom 2, it's a much improved over the Boom 2.
Yes.
It's a little bit, the audio's a little clearer, but I think the biggest improvement is that you can change the EQ, and there's an app on your phone, so
Yeah.
you don't have to do all the crazy, take it to the dealership and
Yeah.
make it extremely difficult that way. The installation is pretty streamlined, so they've done a good job on it.
Yeah, it's a very nice system. What other goodies you guys got up there?
Here's what do you guys do with the oil lines that go to the air breather? Generally speaking, not much. There are a couple of kits that you can get, but you have to have the right base plate in order for that to work. HPI, for example, makes one that has a little breather line that comes out. They use their standoff. So if you're going to do that, you've got to have a base plate that doesn't have the standoffs molded into the base plate. We're actually going to modify one for one of our customers here and use that HPI setup on it.
Do you guys accept the
That's about it, really. I'm not too aware of any other way that you can really get that done other than what HPI's got in the market. At least that's what we've used a couple times.
If you're a rider, there's benefits of not having the external lines. You have to have somewhere for that stuff to go, which then you need a catch can on the bike. Towards the back end, we mount them. Star Racing has a real cool catch can with a little bit of filter on top that undoes it. It's plastic, it's lightweight. You can run those guys right to it in the back, but then you have to worry about draining it here and there. You have more lines running around the bike, and what do you think the horsepower gain is? I mean, it's so minute.
Yeah.
Because if it's going to suck some oil, it's going to do it at high RPMs where it's barely going to get it and be cleaning it out. So if you're going for everything, there's a little benefit. For most of the guys, we're easily getting well over 150 with them being rerouted back into the intake where you don't have to mess with anything. No external lines. They are cool. If you want the catch can, you want to do it. It is a nice setup. It does have some added benefit to it. Is it needed? No. If you want it on your bike, we love it. We'll install it, put it on, make sure everything's working properly. The kit Jimmy has from Horsepower Incorporated is awesome. And I like the catch can that Star Racing just came out with. George made that guy. It's a cool little setup, goes on the back of the bike. That's the setup. Now you're taking an intake that was $400 or $300, or if you're doing an S&S, you're starting at $200 for a Stealth that can flow 150 horsepower. Now we're going up where an intake, just to let your air in with those lines, you're probably $600, $700 in the filter. So sometimes you might want to spend that money somewhere else. On the bike is kind of where I would go. But if you have the extra money, let's do it.
I guess mainly what they're saying is what you're trying to accomplish, and I'm not sure exactly how much of an effect it has, but the oil mist affects octane. And the end game in it, I guess, is to try and eliminate that mist going in and, you know, the intake track and affecting the final octane value you get into the motor. But I don't know what the gain really would be. We're not seeing too much. I mean, I don't tune. These guys, he tunes. But I don't know exactly how much spark knock limitation we see anyway, so I don't think we're running up against that ragged edge, right?
Well, most of the time when you hit the throttle, it's right when you hit the throttle when that guy really sucks. It's not like the whole time it's sucking, you're getting oil in there. It's usually right when you whack the throttle is when you get a little bit in there. And it actually, you know, it's lubricating stuff in there. It's actually putting that minute amount on there. I don't know if it would help it temp at all or not. It depends how much is going in there. But we're not seeing any problems with it. What do you think?
Not for the most part. I mean, if you have a problem, you have a different problem.
There are other problems. We do see intakes sold aftermarket where you get more oil sucked out of the top of the heads than you do, like, let's say, a Harley filter or S&S. There are some aftermarket ones where you can ride behind your buddy, he can get on the gas and hit it, and you can smell the burnt oil. There are some air filters that actually have, the way they're bolting them up and the way they're doing them, the holes inside those bolts must be bigger. Something's different on them, but they suck more oil.
Each one can set up and hang with the 131 motor. That's a loaded question.
What's that?
What?
What was the question?
Yeah, read it.
Is there a V-twin setup, like a twin cam, I'm assuming, that can hang with the 131 motor? Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Like several. Like from probably 110, 117 up, depending on how it's set up.
You could probably buy a 131 cheaper though.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, that's one thing. To get that kind of power out of a twin cam, you're putting
Yeah.
some pretty hefty money in it.
Yeah.
Well, we can also still get the 120. I mean, if someone wants a 120R, we can get that, swap the cam out in some other parts and do some real cool stuff, or we can build them like we've been. The 110s run good, the 117s run good.
Real good. We have a 117 back here that decided to break a chain mount somehow.
Or you could take it to Moonshine and trade it in on a lowrider S and get a free motor.
Yeah.
Yeah, still rolling. We have that going to the end of the month, so buy a Lowrider S. We give you a free 131 Harley kit for that bike, or our Power Pack 128, or we'll take the same value towards a different kit, and you can add on as much as you want. Super cool setup. We've sold a lot of them. I think we've tuned 2 of those guys today alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Dyno.
Two
Yep.
of them.
Yep.
And we've got 2 more waiting.
Yep. Super cool setup. Those bikes ripping. I'll tell you what.
They
that,
sound so good too.
that
man.
pipe on there in the Dyno, they were loud today.
Sounds so good.
Hey, are you done on the dyno or are you still going? You just like, are you trying to be polite? He's taking a break by building another motor. So Jay says, is it worth throwing the warranty out and going with aftermarket big bore kits? Well, you know, that depends on you.
Yeah.
If you're not
risk
worried about
tolerance.
the possibility of something happening between now and the end of your warranty, then it's absolutely worth it. If having warranty coverage is one of the reasons you purchased a new bike, then you might want to talk to us because we have our own in-house warranty that'll cover all of the aftermarket parts. We can finance that right into the bill.
Yeah. Question on here about chain tensioners. You guys had no chain tensioners to send to Canada, went with a Hayden. What are your thoughts with the Recluse clutch? You know, a Hayden over stock, there's some benefits, but I'll explain why we run this guy here in a minute. And we've redesigned this one several times over the last 3 years, and it's been super good. And we're about to have a little bit different shoe design on it. What's that?
He goes, F the warranty, don't be a snowflake.
Yeah, I love you. That's us.
Here we go.
You know, if you're waiting for the warranty, you probably don't need all that horsepower.
If you have to ask, the answer is nah.
So the Hayden has a spring, which is a lot bigger than this spring. It's basically a big valve spring on a Hayden on their tensioner. It holds a lot of pressure, a lot of chain pressure on their shoe. And it will allow it to go down and up, and bounce. It is better than a stock one. But this guy, the difference between it, our spring will push up the tensioner, the shoe, up to your chain. And when it does it, it'll suck fluid through the bottom. There's a ball here that is a one-way valve, and it'll suck fluid and hold the fluid. We have a pressure relief on the side, So when it goes up, it sucks the fluid up and doesn't allow it to come back down.
Does it ever go from suck to blow?
Not unless you break it. These don't break.
How about bang? And it's
So-
got a break off on it, so when it gets to a certain amount
Nobody's
of
seen
pressure,
Spaceballs?
it'll relieve that pressure.
Except for Jeremy. He got it.
So the difference between the Hayden is when you get a lot of load on it, this shoe will go down and compress a little bit more and it'll have a bounce effect. Ours, since it pushes up with the spring and it locks with the fluid in the bottom, it doesn't allow it to press back down when it needs to. Now when your bike's sitting, this check valve in the bottom will actually bleed out a little bit of fluid so it'll be loose again when you start back up. You start your bike up, it adjusts to your chain again. The reason we want that is the chain is a little bit longer. It stretches the metal, everything expands under heat, and as it cools down, it contracts again.
Don't lose all those, you're losing all the parts, man.
It's all right. We'll
Yard,
find them after.
yard sale the whole kit.
Sure, Emil.
This is why we're late every day. We're picking up little parts and stuff that fall on the ground.
But that's the biggest difference. We have the tensioners here at the shop. The reason why we're not selling them is just we're running out. Demand's been super high. Our shop is packed with bikes right now. We have barely enough to cover our builds. When we get them back in and we have like 50 to 70 of them again, we'll start releasing them to you guys. But we're down probably to 40 and we need them all, fortunately.
124 kit with 11 to 1, 11 to 1 compression. I'm not familiar with the CR 482 camshaft, but he's got a 482 camshaft. Throttle body intake, D&D 2-in-1 exhaust with the louver baffle. Looking to change to the big bore baffle.
No,
You don't think so?
I don't
It's
think
loud.
so because
It's a loud pipe.
that's a little less cam than our
Yeah.
492. You know, it's probably just a little bit less. I would stay with the regular one. You start going with heads and stuff, then we would go to the big bore baffle. Are you in the same? Yeah, you're shaking your head yes. Plus the big bore is ungodly loud. I don't know if anyone's out there. It is loud. Caution, warning, screaming all the time. I mean, the regular D&D is a good sounding pipe, and it's already loud to begin with. That big bore is deafening. But I would stay with the billet cat.
114 S&S 540. D&D billet cat. Big bore. Yeah, loud. Working my word towards the 131 or larger. Yeah, that'll work with that 131.
Eric B says the best bang for the buck starting from scratch, drop a crate motor in a cheaper high mileage Rushmore or do a 124, 128 early out of warranty.
2018 M8.
It's probably going to be cheaper on the wallet to do the 128. 'Cause
Yeah.
that 124 engine is what about $7,500 just for the motor?
Plus the
Yeah,
oil
but
lines
then
and
you
all that
need
stuff.
the adapter to bolt it to the
Yeah.
train,
So-
depending on what you're putting it in.
You'll probably save a couple $1,000s to do the M8 and put a 128 on it, and you'll make great power.
Yeah, big bore, super loud. Friend does 35,000 miles a year, and he's in need of a compensator. What compensator do you recommend? 124 M8. Kind of, to me, depends what kind of rider you are and what your tolerance is for noise.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
If you wanted to go with the Dark Horse, they're awesome. They're light, but they're a little noisy. If you want something, you know, it's gonna do better than stock, be quiet, do the Baker.
Yeah, the Baker's nice. It's expensive, but you're getting what you pay for in there. It works like a stock one. It's a little more aggressive. It's quieter. It's smooth. It's the benefits of not braking, but feeling more like a stock bike. That's what I would go with. If you do the Dark Horse, this guy makes a big difference in quieting it down. You do it with a stock Harley-Davidson tensioner, and there's more noise. And the noise is mostly just that idle, what you're hearing, because it's aggressive
lot of
how it is.
backlash in it, right?
It doesn't, the spring in there is gone. That spring effect that's doing this in and out of the compensator to absorb the shock of in-between strokes of your motor, because what happens is, if you've ever been on a row machine, you could pull from the row from the bottom and pull. If you pull hard enough, you get slack in the chain or the rope on your row machine at the gym. And that's what you're hearing is when it catches again. So when the piston fires, it pulls really hard, then there's slack, then it pulls, you get slack. And the compensator is absorbing that. When we put one in that's more solid, there's less absorption and it's not doing it. So, you know, it's just the firing order of the Harley, how it's set up that makes it do that.
C goes, so stock 114 or 107 D&D big bore is useless. I wouldn't say useless. It's probably going to be a little soft on the bottom on the curve. Probably a little bit too much pipe
Yep.
for that setup.
Yeah, you're sacrificing torque off the hit. You know, you're not going to have as good a throttle response with the right setup. That's a larger pipe designed for a larger motor. They came out with that as the cubic inches in the M8 started to grow. They didn't come out with it right away. They saw a need for it, and when they saw the need, they made the muffler to handle it. So that's how that big bore came to market.
All right, this one's been asked several times. Tuners,
Yeah.
2021.
Asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend.
Yes.
we
Working
gotta
on it.
talk about it.
Mr. Williams, I'm calling every day, so hopefully
Every day.
next week we have a little more info.
Yeah,
I have your stuff on my desk. Appreciate it.
they're all working on it.
Yeah.
We aren't the only
Everyone's
ones saying,
extremely antsy.
you're asking us and we're asking Power Vision and T-Man and TTS and everybody else. We're asking them all the time, and they're all saying, man, we're working on it. As soon as we know, you'll know.
Well, there's doing it, and then there's getting it to production to get them to you guys, get them to us. So there's a little bit, they're all on it. They know the one that gets it out first is going to get all the benefits of having it ready to rock and roll. So any day now we're hoping.
It's Doug says add a few dB to the audio.
Yeah. We're maxed.
That's it. So is it our
Speak more
microphone?
loudly.
It's a combination of everything. We're
Can you hear me now?
yeah.
Sorry, guys. We'll talk louder.
Yeah,
that do?
we're getting into feedback territory.
Do
we
you
run
guys
much
have the
hotter.
3-valve fueling heads yet? I haven't seen them released yet. I've seen Luke and the boys over there on that team working on them. They look like they're going to do some cool stuff. We have not put our hands on them and tested them. We'd love to. We're working on our head program too. We got an M8 head that's coming out. You know, we've been working on these guys for a while already, which is good for normal motors. I mean, we're getting 160, 170 horse out of these heads that Harley has the way we're doing them. But that fueling head is going to solve some problems, I believe. Their team knows what they're doing, but we're also working on making the ports bigger in here to get more airflow in and fix some intake problems we're having. So our team's working on it too, and we don't want to say too much until we have them out and have the testing, but we'll have something released in the next couple months with what we're doing. We also have some issues with the smaller exhaust port. We'd love to fix this guy, give you a real big exhaust for these big motors we're running. So we'll have different exhaust sizes for these larger motors, 128, 131, 135s down the road. And you'll see some stuff come out from us as we bring it to market. So it'll be super cool. We got two heads here though. This guy's the one we run on most of the builds. It's a 1.5 millimeter over valve in the head. And then over by Mike, we have a bigger pair of heads that we run on the bigger motors. That's a 2.5 over intake valve. And we match these with the build we're doing. We have multiple different head combinations, and we pick out the right head for your build. So you start going to a 135, now we're going to go to this guy, and this head you're easily adding $1,000 more than compared to these heads. These are $1,650. These guys are well over $2,000 set up the way they need to be to run. So big difference in the motors. Once you start going up, everything changes.
So somebody asked earlier, what's the benefit of the oversized valves?
Like a caveman.
The benefit of oversized valves?
Yeah.
Well, obviously volume. So it can be a benefit or a detriment, because if you put too much valve in, then you lose your air velocity. So you defeat the purpose of putting the oversized valves in. So if you need more flow and you need more speed right off the seat, oversized valves help for that. But if you get too much valve, then you slow everything down, because it's kind of like the old carburetor theory. If you have a CV carburetor and it's vacuum operated and you whack the throttle, it uses the vacuum to open up the slide. So if you get a pinhole in the vacuum, the slide doesn't open up and the carburetor doesn't work. But at the same time, if you have too light of a slide, your throttle gets real jumpy. Or if you have too heavy of a slide, because you can buy different kits, then your throttle's sluggish. And the valves actually operate the same way. If you have too much valve, you can get sluggish off the bottom because you lose all of your velocity. And if you don't have enough valve, you don't get enough top end because you can't get enough air into the motor to begin with. That's why there's such a price difference, because I don't even know if you can see them. Yeah, you probably can't tell us by looking at them, but
You know, and then when we design valves and design cams, certain cams are going to like the bigger valve, certain cams aren't going to like them. Certain cams are going to benefit more from them than others. So it's all about the port design with the valve compared to what you have for an intake and the motor you're running with the cam. It's a whole combination. It's not one part. And then if we go too big and we don't have a large enough exhaust to get them out, then we have an issue. It's going to hold you back there. We see more people being held back by exhaust than anything. We're trying to run longer exhaust like the guy on the table, as to oppose a short, you know, burns to and one that ends here, because that guy on the street riding every day isn't half as fun as having the long pipe that's instant throttle, instant whap. You just barely hit instant. You know, you don't have to wait for 3,500, clutch the bike, dump the clutch. So we're trying to get a pipe that feels like this pipe but performs more like one of those burns 2 and 1 on the top end. And we've been messing around with different sizes. We're going to some larger primaries. We're messing with the head to get a larger diameter opening in the head where the exhaust bolts up. So instead of this size flange that's on this guy bolting up, we're going to make that as big as we can soon. And when we have that, we should see some increases on these bigger cams. Yeah, it's. Should we pull that guy out?
No.
what?
Nah.
No,
Wait until it's done.
We'll wait.
we'll wait.
Somebody
Sorry,
had a good
guys.
question too. Öhlins versus GP. We've seen some GP stuff in here recently, and it's some nice set of forks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really nice stuff.
They're very comparable. The biggest difference is the amount of time that it takes to get them, really. And GP, actually, they recommend just running Öhlins rears. So when you do the GP drop-ins, we pair them with Öhlins rears most of the time. And I just got a set of 2 over GPs for mine that I'm going to be running in, so I can get a first-hand look at them. And
And you can get them. You can get them.
yeah, I mean, it's like a 2-week turnaround versus.
It's nice.
You know, I mean, Öhlins is a big company and they've got a lot of demand. So GP is all American. They're super cool guys and they make really, really high quality parts.
I was talking to Sacha Kraus the other day, and he's playing around with the GP suspension too. I mean, it's nice stuff. The Öhlins is great. It's awesome. But right now, because of what's going on, demand for Öhlins is so high, and they just can't keep up. You order Öhlins right now, it could be 3 or 4 months before you see them. The GP's great. Now, when we talk to most guys, the Öhlins is nice and they want the name brand on there, but are you able to push your bike to the limit? I mean, are you hitting corners at 100 miles an hour? Are you braking so hard in the corner that you're smelling your brakes? Are your rotors glowing? How are you riding the bike? You know, we put real cool suspension on these bikes and it does a really good job, but a lot of the guys we put it on aren't pushing it to its full potential. There's a lot of room.
That was like the perfect beginning for an infomercial. And then you didn't add the, are you running so hard you're 100 miles an hour? Are your brakes, do you smell your brakes at night? If so, call Moonshine.
Moonshine.
And if you order now, you'll get them in 3 months.
That's right.
Possibly. Solid, maybe.
Maybe. Well, we kind of anticipate.
But we'll send stickers now.
So I think we have some 357s, don't we?
Yeah, if you say that they're going to be gone, then someone that wants them here installed, we
They'll
won't
be
have
gone
them.
anyway.
We have a pair of HD 0357s. They will go on a bagger. They are the shorter line, so when you run them on the rear fender, the line's nice and tight.
Yep.
It doesn't have a loop in them. The 044s have the longer line, and those are the ones we run in front of the bags if you're running a backrest. So we do have a pair of HD Space 357s in stock, and I was going to put those on my bike, but someone will call us tonight and buy them, I bet.
And someone's
So-
asking what's the lead time to book a dyno tune.
Whoa.
If it's just a dyno tune, we usually just kind of fit them in. The easiest thing, if we can get it done in a week, if you've got a little bit of leeway and you can drop it off and like on a Tuesday and pick it up Saturday, then we can just kind of fit it in when we have a little bit of a low.
But if they can't do that,
If you can't do that, then we can schedule it.
Yeah.
And
if
it
we're
all
going to drop it in the
depends.
schedule, usually
Yeah.
2 to 3 weeks.
It really depends.
Sometimes it's busy, sometimes it's.
Yeah.
every
there's
once in a
hole
while
in
you
the
call
schedule.
us and someone's canceled, something came up, we got done with a job early,
Yeah.
parts didn't come in for a job that we were going to do, so
Like
call in.
they have Öhlins suspension.
Yeah, so we had to push them back, or a pair of green BSTs.
Yeah. Because those are everywhere.
iRide suspension. Someone
Oh,
asked
I like
about.
iRide.
iRide's
Yeah.
cool. We've installed several sets of those. They're really nice. Again, like a lot of good things, they're not cheap, but they're really cool. The fit and finish on them is nice. The ride is terrific. We're also starting to play with Wilbur's suspension, which is what is it, like a hydraulic automatic
Auto-leveling?
auto-leveling, yeah.
Auto-leveling hydraulic system.
Yeah,
with
it's
a
pretty
valve.
neat. We haven't seen it here yet, but we've got a customer that we're going to install that for, and it should be here in a couple, 3 weeks.
I believe Laidlaw's tried it out and has a video on it. We don't have one yet because we haven't put one on. We were going to do it last year and they sent them to us, but COVID hit and we ran out of new motorcycles. We're having a hard time and we're still low on the touring bikes. They sell as fast as we get them, but we'll try that one out and give you feedback. That's more set up for your two-up riding like the iRide. The iRide has the level to adjust your height in a parking lot and get you real low, so you can maneuver at low speeds better. The Wilbur's is better if you're not worried about the height of the bike and just want the best ride,
Leveling.
going from you by yourself to your wife, going from you by yourself to loaded down carrying a bunch of product or stuff with you because you're going on trips. That's a cool suspension for the touring guy. It's not the suspension for the high performance bagger guy. It's the touring, the plush guy.
But the iRide's super cool because you can actually program it to be at a predetermined ride height at different speeds. Super cool. If you want to be low when you come to a stoplight, you tell it what mile per hour you want it to be at that level, and you come settling up to the light, the bike will drop right down. You put your feet down. It's super comfortable. It's really nice.
Thank you. We'll get you a free shirt. Don't worry. Love it. Best clutch setup for a 128. Depends if you're racing, if you're riding it every day. We got the high performance clutch for the everyday rider video out on our YouTube. That's what we like if you're everyday rider, you're street strip, you're in town. If you're just going to the track and you just want to race the bike, that Barnett is an aggressive clutch. The reason we don't like the Barnett for everyday riding, for say, is that clutch gets hot, you're in and out of traffic, it's grabbing. Sometimes you go put your feet down to stop and the bike is you're kind of holding it back with your feet. Now if you're at the racetrack and you let go of that clutch, that thing will rip harder than anything else. But everyday riding, in and out of traffic, clutch getting hot, not shutting down right after a race, we like that Recluse clutch setup with that whole package we go over in that video. And it's over there on the side under all of our videos, the high performance clutch for the everyday rider. Super cool. You guys agree?
There was a good one earlier too that he had a 117 with a Power Vision and it's running rich. Wants to know if Target Tune would be a good idea. Those are pretty hard to do because Target Tune is great if you don't have any way to get it dyno tuned. Most likely it's in the tune itself, and if you have a local dyno tuner, they can probably take care of that for you. If you're going to do a Target Tune, you'd probably want to have a dyno tune first. Anytime we do the Target Tunes, we dyno tune it and then install the Target Tune, because the closer to accurate your base tune is, the better any other piggyback system is going to work.
You have some green BSTs.
Yeah, no.
Which camera are we looking at, Randy?
No, we don't have green BSTs. I don't know if anyone has green BSTs.
Okay, I'm looking at this one. I don't know what we're doing. Two cameras. Like a lazy eye over here. How about this week? This week was rough.
Yeah.
It was a busy week. Come off a
Like this week,
snowstorm.
he's like, we're not even busy yet.
Couldn't move bikes from the shop. We had a foot of snow outside in Nashville. Phones were ringing off the hook. We had a half crew in here because half of our other crew slid off a hill into another hill. Aaron has a 4-wheel drive truck with 40s and decides to drive his Beamer in the snow on 2-wheel drive. Makes a lot of sense.
And then, he lives kind of out in the country, so he actually causes a pileup somehow.
I did not cause the pileup. I was witness to a
with
multiple
all
car
three-
pileup that was
all
pretty
three
freaking
people
crazy.
that live in his county trying to help Aaron.
We had a town hall meeting on the side of an ice hill.
Yeah. That was last week.
Yeah, that was an adventure.
So 2 days later, after making fun of him in his Beamer, he finally drove his Chevrolet diesel Duramax in on 40s.
I was shamed into it.
I was so bad. Had to drive my big truck. His window wouldn't work. It was down this far. Can't be seen with his window cracked down. But he could be seen in a ditch in a BMW.
Yeah. It's like,
I don't understand.
I don't want to put.
It must be the California in him.
Yeah. I can't put plastic over the window.
Shit, man.
I would have had the windows
That
down,
was
all
so
of them.
stupid. I was telling people, I go up the hill, I stopped, and I slid down the hill and in the ditch. And
Never
it was
stop, man.
California, man, you never deal
stopped.
ice.
Dude, the dude in the 4x4 was sitting there with all 4 tires trying to spin up the hill, and then backed it into the hood of the dude that he was trying to help.
Was it a Ford?
It was a Chevy.
Oh, not good for me.
I know, look at him smirking.
Oh.
Well, I know it wasn't a Ford. I'm not smirking. How much bragging?
A1 ventilator versus fueling versus the Trask cover replacement.
I'll tell you what, that 492 is a beast
Yeah.
on those bikes. We didn't intend it to make all that torque on the bottom, but
Yes, we did.
out of 124, the last two 124s we built, stock heads, 492 cam, fueling valve springs in them, our throttle body. One was on a Bassani pipe and the other one was on a D&D. They both hit 150 foot-pounds of torque and 130 horse. Stock heads, I mean, complete ripper. And from 2000 to 4, that thing's a monster. I mean, you would never know that bike had stock heads. I mean, Jordan got back and he was like, that bike is a beast after test riding, after dynoing it. I mean, that's
rides
one
a
of
lot
our
of
favorite
bikes.
cams. I mean, that's one of our best setups. That cam is also very, very good in a soft tail with stock heads. Comp Cams grinds that cam for us. We have two versions. One closes us a touch later for if you're on a little more horsepower. One's got a little more bottom. Really, really close to the same exact setup, and we pair them to your riding style. So we really don't tell you there's two different ones. We just pick the right one for you and let it rip.
Eric says, how sick is that snake venom color?
It's pretty sick.
It's pretty
Is it
sick.
still back there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
The
is it-
iridium?
Nah, I think I got moved.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll-
I like the stretched one on it. That's pretty cool. That graphic they put on there kind of sets it off for me.
Well, it's
Yeah,
got a
ask
graphic
about-
on the front right and a different one on the back left. You know, it's kind of new school, super cool. I'll tell you what, with it all black, it is a good looking bike.
And it's got that, that number one, if you look at it, it's like a road. It's cool. Yeah, I like it.
They were talking about oil over there too. What oil do we run in these bikes? We run on break-in the MC4T Bellray. After the first oil change, we run the 1050 Bellray. In the primary, the Bellray primary fluid, and the 85 140 in the trans. The hypoid oil,
Yep.
Bellray hypoid oil in the transmission.
And if we're running a
Good
real
stuff.
high compression motor, it's a little hotter, we will run the mineral oil and keep it in, and we won't switch to the synthetic. It'll handle the heat a little better. So when you buy a bike from us, we'll print a little sheet out, give it to you. We can take pictures of them, text you pictures of the bottles, what you need to buy. A lot of the customers just call us up and we ship them right to
Cases.
them. Yeah, cases of
Yeah,
them.
cases
They just
going
call
out.
us, get it going. We stock that stuff. A lot of the dealers around you don't. So when you go to do your oil change, you got to find out you got to wait 4 or 5 days. Not a big deal, but if you were set up to change it that weekend or wait the last minute because you're at your mileage, you might want to have some on hand.
He goes,
What?
Bob Prestridge is on the road and says traffic is atrocious.
Where's he at? Which one's him?
He's Dylan's taking him home.
I know, but where's his thing? Which hand?
Right down at the bottom.
right at the bottom.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, Bob and Todd, the two great customers that came and kind of weathered the snowstorm with us to pick their bikes up.
I took him to the machine shop.
Yeah, they picked the bad week, so they kind of just hung out with us for a while we
Yeah.
finished everything up and got all of our parts in. So it's the one, we finally got everything done. We had one great day of sunshine while we were waiting for the last bit of parts, and then we got it all done today, and it just started raining. So
They chucked it down.
yeah, we were going to Texas anyway, and we said, why don't you guys just jump in the truck and we'll take you home.
Well, what's funny about them is his brother started it first. You know, it wasn't Bob originally. His brother started it. We did a 131 stroker build. He got a motor. His brother buys a bike, gets a bike, has it, I should say, and he wants it rebuilt. Already had a 131. One steps his brother, a little more horsepower.
Look at the bottom one, Mike.
I know.
Don't. Like
Don't.
Niagara Falls.
That's a different show.
Yeah, we'll have to drink like 10 beers before we get going on that one.
Brad Anderson, most cost-effective way to fix a 19 Ultra that dives like a submarine when you touch the brake. Cartridges or springs? Probably cost-effective would be springs, right? Like a progressive spring.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, your next step up would be a cartridge, and then you can start off, progressive, Legend, GP Olin's. You have all those choices. They get kind of progressively more expensive as you go through that range right there, but that's what I would recommend. I asked you a long time ago about heavy oil, and you weren't too receptive to the idea of heavy oil.
I'm not a fan of heavy oil because it slows your damping down. So heavy oil is really good if you're going to be so hard on the suspension that it gets really hot. But for just everyday riding, it actually makes the ride rougher because the damping is slower. So
The compliance isn't as good, right?
What you want with suspension is you want it to react as quick as possible. And when you put heavier oil, it slows down the reaction time, which actually makes it worse.
So the two different things going on, like your spring rate and then your damping, which would be like a shock absorber. So if you have the right spring in it, it'll stop it from making that dive, but then the valving in it will work properly so that it will soak up all the little stuff and keep the tire on the road like it's supposed to, but then not have such a big heave when you get on the brakes.
Back to what I was saying about those customers coming in one-upping each other. So then Bob comes in, one-ups his brother, gets a motor built with heads and everything, and then Todd, their other buddy, comes behind him. He's like, just do it all.
Yeah, just stack
do it
them
all.
on top.
Can you make sure I can like pass both of them with half throttle? I know they're all listening now, and they don't probably know that, but that's what Todd said. He's like, just make sure I can pass them at half throttle.
And don't tell them.
I think we did that maybe. So we'll see you in a couple days. Sorry, Bob.
Should I be scared with the 131 cylinder wall thickness?
You know, we haven't seen any of the Harleys fail yet.
We haven't seen too many though.
Oh, yeah, we haven't seen that many. Usually what we're doing is when we get them, it's fairly quick after they've had the engine installed at another dealership, and we're changing the cam out. So
I can tell you there's definitely room for improvement. Like Bob's bike, the 131 with that +1 head on it and the right cam and a good pipe, it made some numbers. It really, really tuned out well.
Yeah, and we have guys running the 131 cylinders. Well, they'll actually put a little different piston in them, run them, and they'll actually just hone them like a thou or two more and have a custom piston setup for them. And they run good. I don't think it's the thickness, because that chromoly sleeve is really, really nice. I think it's a roundness of them, of machining them. You get a really nice set. They're perfect. They are a strong cylinder. I think sometimes just doing as many of them, not every one of them comes out perfect. So some of the shops, and we can do it too, is where we just hone them. And we.
All right.
Yeah, more guys need to call in.
I think they're
Rock and roll those
having so much
131
fun.
cylinders. I wouldn't worry about it. Change your oil.
Hello, can you hear us? Hello.
Are you Popeyes? Is this Popeyes?
Yeah.
I want 2 chicken sandwiches.
I want
think
the
I lost
spicy
him there.
chicken.
Well, we had one. I think I lost him. Must have been a bad connection. If that was you
take one.
calling us, give us a call back. We'll try it again.
Bob. Thanks, Bob. I'm okay.
Does the SNS 475 work well in a 114 with a lend-to-1 compression and a Sidewinder? Yes.
Yeah, nice
The-
setup.
It's a common install is putting a 475
Thank
on
you,
a
sir.
completely stock motor, and then saying, man, it rips above 3,000 RPMs, but it's real lazy below that. That 475 really likes compression.
External breather system, we covered that in the beginning. Yeah, we can do it. We would do a HPI setup, most likely. We love their intake. It works good. The setup they have is very nice. And we run a Star Racing catch can. If you want that, absolutely, we can get that done. We can get you the parts, send them to you. You can bring the bike in, we can install it. There's a little more maintenance involved in it, which we went over at the beginning of the video. A little pricey. Super nice. We like it. No chicken sandwich, 5-piece spicy with sweet tea
Sweet tea and
taters.
taters.
I want one
Hell
right
yeah.
now. I barely got lunch
Making
today.
it
I
hungry,
can
man.
take that. Can we deliver it and eat it? Ooh. 131 stage 4 star 3/4 race cam. It's a good cam.
Good cam.
We like George's stuff. He helps us with some stuff we do. We got a couple of cams with George, and we have a 588 we do, which is real similar to that 585. So you can run either one. The 585 is just a little more left. Our 588's a little bit more right. When I'm saying right, I'm saying a little more horsepower on the top end. Very, very similar. George made both of them. They're both great.
Dumping sprung versus unsprung weight, which is going to make the biggest difference in performance. Your unsprung weight, both rotational weight or anything attached to the suspension in unsprung weight. The math, the rule of thumb is like 7 to 1 is the advantage that you get out of it. So in other words, every 7 pounds, or every pound rather, of unsprung weight you can pull off, you'll realize an effective difference in the handling.
All right, we got another one. I think he's trying to call us back here.
7 pounds.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Message.
Sounds like
Welcome, Tom.
you're
All right, you there?
Who's Emerald City
Hey,
Bagger?
my name's. Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Can you hear him?
Can you turn it up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Ooh.
Mhm.
What's up, boss man?
Hey guys, I am doing a skinny tire bagger with a 124. It's an 05 Road Glide. I'm worried about traction issues. I'm going to be pushing like 150 horsepower torque. Am I going to benefit going from a 150 to a 180 rear tire? And do you guys know what's all involved with that?
Not for the money you're going to spend to do it on an 05. That's going to be pretty extensive because the rear end isn't designed to take that big of a tire. I don't think you should have any problems. If you're worried about traction, you can get a sticky tire like a Night Dragon
Or a Shinko.
or a Shinko. You'll sacrifice mileage. Be careful with Shinko tires. Once you get about half the tread gone, they become dangerous, but they're cheap.
Very
And the
cheap.
sidewalls are not nearly as
Yeah.
sturdy as most of the other tires.
Yeah, but the Pirellis make some real good sticky tires if that's something that you're concerned about. But that thing should rip.
I would run the Pirelli Night Dragons. They are touchy on PSI, so just check your PSI before you go ripping. They run good. I run them on my bikes, love them. I don't know. I get almost 10,000 miles out of them. Unless and I've been burning the tire off, burnouts, everything. Lies. You see this? Lies.
Yeah, the occasional wheelie over the railroad tracks doesn't
No,
count.
I mean, I would run the Pirellis. You'll like them. That's the best set. And then having that much horsepower on the bike, one of those stabilizer kits would be a good idea on that bike. Yeah, I would put that on. Whose do you like, Mike?
On the stabilizers, it doesn't really matter. Any of the 3-point stabilizers, whichever one you prefer, they're all really good. And they definitely help those old 3-point mounting baggers.
Yeah, you don't realize how much that rear end sways on one of those older baggers until you're behind someone on the highway doing like 80 and he's just all
Oh my
Oh,
God.
he's cut off.
just like that.
That's it. Cut.
Oh, for God's sakes. You better finish that.
Yeah.
I'll look it up after you're off camera.
That's why
What
we
else
don't
you
have
got,
nice-
boss man? Is that
okay.
it?
That's why everything's not on the actual table.
Hold
That's
on,
why
we gotta hear him talk. Is your bike done already, or are you still doing it?
Zippers has my bottom end in my tranny right now, so I'm waiting on that. But other than that, it's
Good
all
choice.
done. I've got front and rear suspension, brakes, everything's done. Yeah, I was looking at going with the bearing kit in the swing arm pivot, and then some kind of stabilizer, true track or progressive.
Yeah, both of those work really well.
Yeah.
What did you say your displacement's going to be?
It'd be 124.
124.
That'd be a nice bike.
That's going to run good.
Is it Zippers kit? Their pistons, their cylinder?
It'll be their cylinders,
CP Carrillo piston?
Manamore crank.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Dark Horse is doing the crank, and they're doing a Timken conversion. 657 cam.
Same cam I'm running.
So it should be. Yeah, and then HBI, I think 5860,
Cool. What's your compression at?
and then HBI. I run a lot of pump gas and do a lot of traveling, so I'm gonna run 12 to 1.
Man, we got the same, almost the exact same setup.
Over rockers?
Except, yeah, you're doing the 1725 rollers.
Probably not.
I'd be lying whether I spoke on that or not. I haven't
It's
looked
doubtful.
over the build sheet too extensively.
That's cool.
But everything else is kind of Zipper's recommendation on that. It should make good power, and then HBI just built me a custom exhaust to run Big Bear Performance mid controls.
That's cool.
Sweet.
It's gonna be a light bike with a lot of motor.
Yeah.
Where does that cam close?
45.
40? Yeah, that
Yeah,
thing's gonna be.
You said the Redshift 657, right?
Yeah, that's what I'll be running.
So it's, yeah, the 45 close.
You're gonna be
That's
like
gonna
10.7,
run good,
10.8
man.
to 1 correct.
We're on the
It's gonna
exact
be a
same
hot
setup.
little bike.
I'm
It's
building
gonna
that
be
same setup with a 12 to 1 compression 117.
Okay, yeah, that should be nice. And I've got it dialed in as far as suspension. Like I've got the Olins from Big Bears, the inverted front end, and the Galper rotors, and Brembo monoblocks, and all that good jazz. So look at a swing arm and some of the carbon fiber bits later on.
Nice.
Cut him off. I'm drinking tea. I'm even drinking my beer. I still spill it.
Any thoughts on the H50s?
Hey man, thanks for calling in. We'd like to see that bike when it's done. If you do a trip through Nashville,
Come see
hit
us
us
with that
up.
thing.
We want you to race Aaron.
Let's do it.
Because
Yeah,
if you
my
beat him,
parents are in
he'll pull his
Knoxville,
bike back
so
apart.
I might be able
Cry
to
for a
bring
week.
it.
Probably will.
Come out and pick up a new Softail from you guys or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got that program going. If you need something later down the road, call me at the shop. Remind me that you called in one night. We'll figure it out.
Right on, will do, guys. Appreciate what you're doing. Thanks
Thanks,
for your
man.
time.
Thanks, man. Ride safe.
Thank you.
All right.
RTC says any thoughts on the H50s? We really like those tires. We sell a lot of them. Everybody we sell them to likes them. We're starting to run those on a lot of our local police bikes and municipalities that we service and set up the police bikes for. They're running them now. It's a really good tire.
Our police guys also run apes on their bikes.
Yeah.
Mufflers. Some
Comfortable.
get cams. It's pretty funny when he's like, hey, if I pay for this, will you put this in my police bike? Oh, I don't care.
Yeah,
Sure.
whatever. Then they trade him in and they're like, hey, I'm buying that. I'm buying that one, right? And you're like, yeah, absolutely.
Is that why he wants to buy it? Okay.
Yeah.
Now it makes sense.
Yeah, when Turk traded it in, he's like, you're going to cut me a deal on that, right? So I can buy it.
Bushing replacement kit for baggers for your suspension, worth the effort.
I did it.
I would say.
I did the polyurethane motor mount bushings and an alloy art stabilizer. That's all I put on mine. May not be necessary, but I'd rather have it.
I like it. I was always the guy that had solid motor mounts in every car I owned. So I like the aggressive feel. I like the shake. I like feeling more of what's going on in the bike. I like it solid. So if you're an aggressive guy, absolutely. If you're going for a cush ride and riding with the wife all the time, probably not the right setup.
Yep.
But if you're a ripper beating on it and it's a high horsepower bike, absolutely. It's going to feel like, you know, a race car when you start it up, when you get on the throttle.
Let's go to the bar and continue this.
What did we say?
He said, let's go to the bar and continue this.
Oh, yeah.
Who's that?
As long as you get an Uber, JB.
Had 3 sips. Done. Done.
What did you say? Like, what's the comedian on cocaine?
Huh?
You said you were like what comedian was it? Oh, the cable guy? You're like, I get 3 drinks. I'm like the cable guy on cocaine.
Man, my ADHD, beer to me is like cocaine. I have 3 beers, you got to hold me down, chain me up. We're going. I ain't stopping until everyone's asleep.
That's funny. What pipe do you recommend on a 16 Dyna?
I have a 16 Dyna, and I'm running the Thrashin AR pipe.
AR.
Love it. It's depending on the size motor, you know, Thrashin makes the normal sizes. You need a big size, and we get our pipe, and Feeling makes them for us for the larger ones. So the Thrashin AR pipe is great.
Good header.
It's a good header.
Trask
runs
makes a good pipe too.
They do. I just bought the Thrashin.
Right. You put your money where your mouth is.
I have one on my Sportster.
Yep.
I mean, I will. One day.
This guy, he's about to Cerakote the
But
frame.
don't buy all the Thrashin pipes because we need them for our customers, okay,
We
guys?
already bought them. We called Freeman today and we're like, how far are you to the Thrashin pipes? Oh, a couple weeks. Can we order 12?
Probably did.
We'll
3
get right
weeks
on
out
that.
now.
I tried to stop them.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Yes, we can tune a Power 2020 with RDRS with Power Vision. Yes, we can.
Call from.
Tony Morgan.
To accept, press
Tony
1.
Morgan.
To send a voicemail,
See what
press
else?
2.
Yeah. We just finished up his bike.
Hello?
Hey, y'all still doing the live stuff?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we are. Unless you're intimidated, then no, we're not.
No, I was just going to tell Aaron I appreciate him dealing with me for the last couple of weeks, changing up bikes and changing up different parts on the motor and I know it's been a hassle dealing with certain customers, but I think by the time we were done, I really liked that way we figured out that low rider S.
No, absolutely, man. It's the whole point of it is to get it right. So
What did we go with?
Thrashing AR header.
492 cam?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Aaron. Well, Jamie overruled me on the cam. We had everything done, and then Jamie said, "No, you're not going to watch that cam. You got to go with this one." I said, "Yes, sir."
What do you want from me? If you get me involved, I'm going to tell you what I would do if it was mine. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I can't wait for you to get it and rip
Yeah,
on it. Come back and high five me and be like, hey, have Jamie pick your cam, not Aaron.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's like when we were done. Aaron got me off to the side. He said, "Yeah, I think that's exactly what I'm going to do."
Yeah.
So,
Well,
I can't be going wrong if he's going to do the same thing.
2 more of them dynoed back to back today. I think was it Campbell and Mackey both dyno tuned today, and that is a really potent setup, man. Sounds absolutely awesome. And Jordan rode one of those bikes. That's one of the ones he was talking about. Just again, he rides a lot of bikes, and he got off that bike and he was just like, "Dang, that is a ripper."
It sounds good.
It sounds nasty.
Yeah.
Sounds nasty.
Yeah.
And it's got the performance to back it up. It just doesn't sit there thumping, sounding cool. It backs it up every bit.
When do we get Mr. Morgan's bike done?
Yeah.
You know?
I have to look at the schedule.
We'll have to look. We're excited to get it in your hands. We want to hear your feedback once you have it.
I think it's the 10th is what he told me.
Yeah.
But there's one thing I wanted to state, though. That's after everything was said and done and you're all finished, you guys still treat everybody good, and I think I appreciate that more than anything, because all the Harley shops seem like they do you, be nice to you and everything up until the purchase, and then once the purchase is done, you're nobody. You guys seem like you go that extra mile, and here it is, 3-4 weeks later, and I'm still getting treated good. So
Yeah, man.
I appreciate y'all being the way you are.
Well, without
Thank you.
awesome customers like you guys and you, we can't do what we do. We love doing it. We love meeting you guys. I mean, guys that build awesome bikes with a lot of horsepower are usually really cool dudes anyway. So you guys make it easy for us to like you. So, no, man, thank you for trusting us with your vehicle. Can't wait to get it in your hands and let you do a burnout. Every time we videotape someone, everyone on our channel says we want to see a customer do a burnout. So you might have to be the first one.
Yeah, I probably won't be the last, but I'll be the first one.
Committed, full commitment. I love it. Mr. Morgan, thank you so much.
Thanks, man. Anytime.
All right, I appreciate it. I'll see y'all on the 10th.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
See you then.
He's a cool dude.
Have you seen any negative side effects or issues removing the counterbalancers on the big motor builds? No, not really. The whole reason that Harley put him in there was just to make it even a little smoother at idle. And when they designed the counterbalancer in the baggers, they actually had to debalance it a little bit because they made it so smooth when they were designing it that the people that rode it didn't think it felt like a Harley anymore. So they actually debalanced it a little bit themselves. And when you install them, it's not even exact. There's like an arrow and a circle, and it's like, get it close. I mean, that's pretty much what the service manual says. If you're off a tooth or two, it's fine. So, and they don't line, I'm not kidding, they don't line directly up.
Well, when you build these things and you're lining those up, you get them and they look like they're right on. You're like, is it on? You move it a tooth. You do it a couple times. And Harley's like, just send it.
Yeah, it's always one off. They're like, just pick a side.
I bet you people are calling tech services. It looks straight. Can I send you a picture?
Yeah.
Harley's like, in this range.
This is a good one.
Oh,
Tom Miller, 6-7 months ago, asked about an AR for an M8 bagger. It's right here.
Yeah.
You're looking at it. That's the pipe you're looking for.
Where was he on here? What was the whole question?
Tom Miller.
About 6.
About 6 to 7 months ago, I asked Thrashing Engineer if they had an AR type exhaust.
Thrashing
does not have the AR bagger. For the AR bagger, you're coming to us for the pipe you see on the table. We can get it for you. They're awesome. We have them made in several different sizes with primaries and the step in the muffler. We have a different size collector. We have a 2.5 collector, a 2 3/4 collector. We have mufflers. This muffler has a step here, here, and at the end. So we have 3 steps here we can change the size on. We have different collectors and a different muffler. So we're going to pair this exhaust to what you're doing. We don't typically build a ton of these for stock motorbikes. These are for built bikes.
And you say you're doing one now with a primary in 2 1/4?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not this pipe.
Wow.
But yeah, big.
That's
Well, it's
some
coming.
big stuff.
It's coming right from here at 2.
Two out of the head.
Yeah.
Well, it's 1 7/8 for
Well,
like
for like that far.
3/4 of an inch.
Just to get into the port.
Yeah. Well, it's
It's
just so
1
you can get your
So you can,
Yeah.
Your socket in
yeah,
there.
so you can screw it onto the head.
Collar?
Hey, turn up the
From-
prison part. I love that part.
Hey man, it's Chris.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
What's up, Chris? Did you lose
Hey
him?
man, how are you?
What's up?
I know it's getting late, but I got a question for y'all. I got a 09 Dyno. I just took the cam chest apart and checked the run out. It's at 5,000. It's all stock. I want to build a medium type solid platform on top of that. Would you do it with 5,000?
Are you trying to run like gear drive cams, or are you just asking in general if 5,000 is excessive run out?
Well, would you turn that into a 120 with 5,000? Would you put that money on the top?
I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if I'd
Well,
build
what
on
is
it
it,
without it being welded and
120
plugged
is
anyway.
I don't know if you can do a 120 on a 2009.
No, I could get it up. I could like you did to your brother's bike. Dude, I remember that one video you guys did. That was
was a
badass.
110.
That was a 110.
All right, so I'll go to a 110.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Would
Oh
you
yeah,
build
I'll
that, or
do that all day.
Do a
Should I
110.
spend the extra 2,500 and put a crank on it?
Well, that depends on whether or not you have the 2,500 to spend on the crank. I mean, it wouldn't be it wouldn't be absolutely necessary, but if you wanted to tighten the spec and run something like gear drive cams, you could do that. But it wouldn't shake apart or anything if you put it together the way it is now.
I mean, are
Yeah.
you gonna
There's
be?
little scalding on the shaft, and I'm definitely replacing the whole cam chest. The tensioners looked pretty decent for having over 40,000 on them.
I would service the flywheel. If you got some marks on the end there, going in the oil pump, a little bit of wear. How many miles are on this guy?
40,000.
40,000. You
40K.
got some wear on the bearings there.
How hot of a 110 are you trying to do?
That was my next question.
I get up 120, 120 be good.
If
I
it
would
was
do the
mine
little
and
dime.
that doesn't break the bike and you can take care of the expense, I would do it.
Yeah.
Because I want it to run for another 45, 60, 70,000 and not be worried about anything.
Yeah.
And it never gets cheaper.
All right. Well, once the stock market turns back the other way, then I'll have an extra 2K.
Did you get it on the GameStop?
I'm wrapped up with about 700 shares of AMC right now.
Man, we love Reddit and GameStop. We got like 3 bikes built for customers because they rode that wave.
Wow.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the next spike here, and then I'm come down to see y'all. I'm up here in Central PA. We got snow coming tonight, and there's still fucking 8 inches sitting on the ground.
I don't know how you do it, man.
mean,
We
you
had
guys
6
in PA
inches
are
here,
tough.
and
I mean, that sucks.
we were like
Sucks.
crippled with like 4 or 5 inches on the ground. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, isn't that like when you get down to 4 inches? Isn't that the first day of riding season?
We were all out riding last night. We all went to the steakhouse for the first time. We all stopped riding.
He could ride
The
his
only
Harley
buddy
in
wasn't
snow.
riding with me. I was in my Chevy Tahoe because my bike's fucking ripped down right now.
That's awesome. There are some tough people
Yeah,
in
what-
PA.
What you did to your brother's bike, man, that was a nice build.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool bike. He's eating Indians
Yeah, you're
for breakfast.
badass.
You want to tell him the
I wish
story about your brother?
I wish they had mechanics like you around here, man. You
Oh,
guys
sure.
are badass.
Oh,
Thank
there's-
you.
There's probably somebody in a pocket up there.
I got zippers about 45 miles from me. They're about the best thing going.
Yeah, well, you can do way worse than zippers, I promise.
Dan over there, that shop's really good. We talked
Yeah.
to Dan. He works with Thunder Max a lot. We've both been talking about getting the new tuner set up for these new bikes, and he's helping out. It's a great team up there.
For the EPA override.
Well, man, thanks for calling in. If
Well,
you need any other
Basically
questions,
what it is, right? Anyway, I watch all your stuff, man. You guys are banging. I love it. I wish I was down there, man.
thank
I'll be rolling that bitch in right now.
Hey, bring it down.
well, do we have? Were we
Take
just
care
in
of it.
Pennsylvania?
If I hit my $20 spike, I could put a dark horse bulletproof bottom end in that if I hit my AMC. So make sure you guys take all your loved ones and your kids to the movie this weekend, all right?
Well,
Will do.
if you do want us to work on it, we can get it shipped down for like 200 to 300 max from you to us, just in case you want us to do something.
Well, other than splitting the cases, I already got pretty much everything else torn down.
Well, you're rocking and rolling. If you need something or have questions on any of the build or what we'd put in Mike's brother's bike, give us a call. Get me on the phone, get Aaron on the phone, and we'll get you taken care of.
I'm gonna watch that video again, Mike. I love you, man. You're so badass.
Thank you.
The tuning part, what I want down there. You guys are tuners, man.
We try.
Yeah.
We definitely try.
Learning every day.
I don't have the right pipes to probably get where I want to go anyway, so I probably have to get pipes.
You can make that 110 pretty hot, man.
Yeah.
With Vance and Hines long shots?
Probably not.
Probably not. That's where.
It'll sound great though.
Well, when you're ready for the pipe, call Aaron.
Yeah,
Go over the motor specs again. We'll give you a couple different options of what we recommend, since you don't have. It sounds like you might be doing a change there, and we can drop ship them to you, get you taken care of. But call us when you're ready. We'll make sure everything's set up and go over the particulars. Even if you need little pieces and stuff, we can get you taken care of. Want to make sure everything turns out perfect.
All right, man. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for
You
taking
bet,
my
man.
call.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
All right. Peace out.
Peace.
Thank you.
So somebody else was trying to call during that. They might be trying again. Let's see here.
I love them.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
The call up is cool.
Fucky Fuckerson.
Oh, I love it.
Cheers, man.
I need a beer for this guy.
Fucky Fuckerson. Here we go.
Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Fucky.
Yeah, I was want to ask a question about a build. I've been watching y'all's. I think it was the 128, 124 cams.
Go ahead. So 128, what kind of cam?
Yeah, I'm watching. I sit in a crane all day, and I've been watching y'all's videos, and I want to do a build, and I want to. So I watched the video, and y'all said the 475 on the Softail SNS 475 cam was hitting at 1900. It was hitting like right off the idle. You know, the way the video went, it was hitting a lot of torque, like 130 or something. Sorry, choking on beer.
Jamie, too.
I want to hit like really high torque at 1900, but then still have the run out on the top. What would y'all suggest? And the second question would be, if I bought the bike and y'all put the kit in it, how long of a wait would it be? Because I'm down in Houston, Texas right now.
Well, the cam choice would be kind of related to where you wanted the power. And if we were to talk on the phone, this is exactly the kind of conversation we would have. This is pretty much what I do all day long. If you're looking for that, if you're a heavily loaded two-ring rider, you want that maximum hit right on the bottom, 475 might be the cam for you. 492 is real close.
Well, how I pick the 492 compared to the 475 is if you have a little bit more money to spend, I go to the 492. It's more money just because of springs. It's a better setup all the way around. It does what that 475 does, plus some.
And carries to
the only
right side of the
difference
curve.
is budget. If you have a little bit more to spend on the budget, it's about $400 and some more. Springs, we got to replace these bad boys on the heads. And we'll put the 492 in there. Now, if that's breaking the budget, then we'll back down to the 475. Great cam. It just depends what you pick out and what's available right now. We have some holes in our schedule here and there, so it depends on your timing and when we can get the bike from you, if you're bringing it up, or if we need to come get it and organize that. So
we're going to be in your neck of the woods tomorrow afternoon.
We can pick your bike
Well,
up.
I was actually I was thinking buy the bike from y'all, and then once I buy the bike, how long would it take once I bought the bike
Oh, there you go.
from y'all?
All right. If we
Well, that
went
way,
on-
I can buy y'all's warranty and everything. And I've been watching your videos, and I like what y'all say about the 521. So if I wanted to put heads later, I could. But I like as much torque as I can at the bottom, and I want it to run all the way out. I race dirt bike, like I run a Suzuki 450, and so I like having instant torque all the time. I quit riding crotch rockets, and I've had a couple of cruisers, but I got rid of everything because of Sleepy Joe and Camel Toe Ho running the presidency. I don't know how the money's going to work out, but when the fall gets here, I'll be ready to pull the trigger. Surely the country will be straight down.
I would
by
run
then.
that 492 all day for how you want to set it up.
And that's only
And then,
for something like that from the purchase to completion is only a couple week turnaround. It's pretty simple.
okay, so I could do everything by the phone, and we could do everything, get taken care of, and then I can come up and pick the bike up, and it'd be good to go.
Absolutely. Call sales. And
Get a hold of Aaron, go over the motor build, and then come get me when you're done.
I can bring it over to Jamie, and he'll work with you to secure the bike, and we'll schedule the build. Based upon the schedule back here in the shop, how busy we are. I mean, the build itself on a stage 3 is only going to take 2 to 3 days. The building process itself, it's not that long. It's just finding the time with the tech to actually get that done.
And then
All right. I'm kind of torn in between like a street glide or a road glide or maybe a lowrider S. I ain't gonna take no long trips, but I do like to have music, so that's why I want the bagger. And then
We can
if I
put
did the lowrider,
Flex
would
system on
I
a
need to
lowrider.
do the Olins or could I just do the cartridges? Do I need to do the whole? I'm gonna I'm gonna ride the fuck out of it.
it depends on budget. Those inverted forks, it's instantly 5 to 7 grand on the front end. Once you do the brakes and everything, depending on what you do. So if you have the budget, awesome. We have guys that spend, 35 grand in parts on their bike when they buy it. We have guys that only want to spend 3 grand. So it just depends on where the budget falls, but we'll go over all of them. Call Aaron. I would call him maybe tomorrow morning if you have time, and we'll kind of start to build that thing and not slow down this, but we'll go over each part individually, price it out, tell you the benefits, go over each item. That's what Aaron does. That's the specialty of our shop because we compare the bike with all the horsepower and the performance, which makes this a little odd. It's like you buying a custom Roush, but customize it, not just buying the Roush built on the floor. And then since we built that motor, we'll warranty the engine until your factory warranty's out. And then our extended warranty, we'll warranty tranny, anything. If Harley denies the claim, we'll cover it. Good down there where you live, good at any Harley shop in the country. So it just depends on how you want to do it. Mr. Morgan had called in earlier. He's the one that was super excited. That's what he did. He did a brand new bike with the build. He got on that Lowrider S promo we're doing now where you get the free motor kit with purchase. But call us. We'll spend easily, every time we get on the phone with you, it's a 30-minute to 50-minute phone call. So for you guys calling in to get me or Aaron, sometimes you can't get to us because once we're on the phone with someone, we want to do everything and make sure they're taken care of. So that's why sometimes we're a little busier. But call the shop. If Aaron's not available, ask for Jamie.
All right, good deal. I appreciate y'all. And I'm going to start drinking some more beer and watching the rest of y'all's live stream here. You motherfuckers have a good fucking evening.
Wait. Are you drinking that light beer that Aaron drinks, or are you drinking the heavy beer?
What are you talking about, man?
Well, I'm drinking Crown and I'm chasing it with Corona.
I like your style, sir. Thank you, man.
All right.
We'll talk to you soon.
Y'all have a good evening.
You too. You too.
Hey, look. Joe says, "What's a budget?" We'll see you in the morning, Joe.
That's the numbers that you give your wife that you paid for it.
Right.
Well, we charge.
It may not be the actual budget.
We have a service where we give you your bill of sale, and then we give you a special bill of sale
The public bill of
for
sale.
someone you might need to show numbers to. And then you gotta hide the rest. We're not reliable for your bank account info and hiding all that. That's up to you. But we'll print a quote for you.
We did have somebody else trying to call in, look like Pensacola number.
Where was
we'll see if they pop back in.
our guy from Houston? What was his name? Did he say? I don't think he gave us a real name.
Fucky Fuckerson.
I wanted to talk to that guy more. He's awesome.
Like tomorrow I'll recognize the voice and go, "Hey, Fucky, what's up, man?"
I love it.
That's Mr. Fuckerson.
Switch to
That's
basil.
Mr. Fucker. Yes, Mr. Fuckerson.
Yeah, I like that.
Better bourbon. No, we'll take more calls.
Switch to Basil Hayden. I think I know who that is.
Have
It's
you
gotta be
got
Joe.
Any ideas to improve the Harley 122 kit? Oh yeah, absolutely. We can build on the 122 kit. I mean, if you already have it installed, absolutely, we can build on any of the kits. It just depends on your budget, what you're
Actually,
looking to do. I mean,
Mr. Kazmanov's
we can
build.
get 100. Yeah, we can get well over a 140, 150
We
of a
put
122
our
if you want.
492 in a 122, and it made some really good power.
With stock heads?
Yes. Just a 122 setup, and it was really surprising how good a power it made.
So let's see, two blue Fred says I had a 465 and D&D Bobcat breather, dyno tuned. Numbers were 90 and 115. Was that a 107?
Two Blue Fred, was that
Yeah,
a 107 or a 114? And
that's a-
what exhaust did you have paired on that bike?
The D&D Bobcat.
Oh, it's right there, yeah. In all caps, that's cool. In all caps, too.
Yeah, she did that, yeah.
I missed it.
Chris Rivas, 474 on a 19 Road Glide 114 stock motor, Vasani Road Rage. Well, I'll tell you, you're probably going to have a kind of a lazy bike right off the line with that Chris Rivas 474. He makes great cams. He's a real high-end, mid to top-end.
Well, he makes cams for wide open throttle. He makes cams for ripping.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a race cam, wide open throttle. You hit 6,500, you shift, it goes back to 4,500. And in that range, that RPM range, that thing's going to be a beast. But now lugging around town, getting off the line, it's not going to do anything like these other cams. And I talk to Mike all the time. The number one reason guys bring us their bikes that are already built is they've over-canned them, and they don't have that instant response on the line. They have that lag in them, and we get that back for guys. So the number one thing that we see on a bike that's already built that comes through our shop is it's over-cammed, makes great horsepower. They're like, man, it runs like a beast from 3,500 out the back door, but man, I just don't like how it's cruising. I don't like running around town. I'm on the highway trying to do, like 2,500, and its sweet spot's like 33, 35 on the highway. So that's typically what we see. But if you're running out the back door and you're just racing from light to light and you're full throttle all the time, it'll be a beast of a cam. And you like downshifting and staying the RPMs and beating that bike up, it would be a great cam for that situation. It would be.
Fred on a 107, that's probably about right, depending on the cam.
They releasing a 3-valve?
The nice thing about a 465 on a stock motor, especially on a 107, is it's going to give you a lot of low end. So you're going to have a lot of a lot of passing power and a lot of right off the throttle, depending on what it was.
I don't think so. I haven't seen
Like
it.
which 465 it was, but I wouldn't say they're super light. The numbers that you get on dynos are really vague because they don't really mean anything. What matters is how nice the curve is and how well the air fuel and all the timing and stuff is dialed in. So, some dynos have higher numbers than others. Some dyno tuners make higher numbers than others. So if it runs really good and has great throttle response and is really smooth acceleration, it's probably tuned really well. And you'll probably beat most of your other buddies on M8s with it. 583 and a 96 cubic inch. That's actually a pretty good cam, especially if you got a little compression on it. I think it's got a really short intake close, so I like that cam a lot. Is it a soft tail? That's for Jabedaba. SNS 465. Yep, that's probably really good. I bet that's got super stout bottom end, two Blue Fred. I would expect that on a 107.
Yep.
D&D or Pro Pipe?
Well, the 3-valve thing from Fueling came out yet. Those heads aren't out yet. That's something that they've been working on. We're waiting for those to be released so we can try them. It's supposed to do some really, really cool stuff. Now, on that head, depending on what we're running, we might need special pistons, different domes because of the shape of that combustion chamber. It's more of a heart-shaped combustion chamber than what we're working with right now. But Luke says it's going to fix a lot of problems and make some really good numbers. So we're excited to see what those guys do with it, release some dyno graphs. We're excited to get our hands on it. Absolutely. I mean, they're not going to come out with something that doesn't just decimate stock, to my belief. So we're excited for that head. So for you guys looking at that Fueling head, absolutely. I mean, Harley's done some good stuff, but there's a lot of room for improvement. And Luke and his team over there is trying to do it where you don't have to buy everything new. Sometimes when we come out with stuff, you have to buy a specialty exhaust pipe. You have to buy a specialty intake. You got to buy rockers and all these parts. He's trying to make it where basically you just buy the head. If it is a flat top piston, you'll be able to run it. Now, if you're doing a dome piston, we'll have to have some cool custom CP Carrillo dome pistons. And if those heads are working, we'll bring them out. But excited for that 3-valve head. Luke's been working on it for a long time, so we'll see what it does soon.
Joey,
Sam Mooney, what's up?
Yeah, Sam Mooney. Good to hear from you, man. Joey Smith, call me tomorrow so I can take a deposit, get the spec done, and that's the way it generally works, folks. If you don't know, if you've called the shop before, I'll take a deposit, I'll spec your build, send that to you for approval. Once it's approved, take a second deposit, order the special order parts that we need, and get you in the schedule. So that's the process that hopefully Mr. Smith's going to go through tomorrow. Thanks for stopping by, man. It was cool to see you.
I like
All
you.
the way from Florida.
I'm a Florida boy. Love that state. I was down there last weekend on an airboat. Super cool, man. Thank you for coming up and seeing us.
Isaac Temple, I think you put on there when do we recommend going to a chain?
When you
My
break.
answer is when you break the belt. I don't know if there is a stronger belt than the stock. You know, there's not very many companies that actually make those things. So I wouldn't worry too much about it until you rip all the teeth off of it. Well, then we'll talk.
Now, if you want to start checking it because you're beating on your bike, get under your bike, see if it's chunk, and see if teeth are missing.
You'll know.
You will know. You'll think you blew up your tranny, or you'll think your clutch basket's gone. That's normally what the guy says when he brings it in on a trailer.
Yeah, in my experience in what I've seen, I have not seen a stronger belt than the Harley belt.
Yeah.
Drag has one that they're marketing
Drag
right now
has
that's
them.
supposed to be some.
I don't know
belt.
about the newest one, but I
Yeah,
can tell you that the older ones are not as strong as a stock.
Yeah,
'cause
I
have
can't
seen
give any
them break.
information other than
Guys, that is Ginzilla, our out of work strip club DJ in the background. Do we have any questions, Ginzilla? He's ginger and he's 7 foot tall. So that's how he's got the name.
fun fact, you can't breathe while smiling.
And with a beard, fiery beard. What, you got questions you guys printed out by chance still? Or did we go through them earlier? Okay, just want to make sure. Tire recommended. 19 Road Glide, S&S 128, 521 fueling cam that you all did the work on.
Oh, Hamlin.
That's you.
Hamlin.
That's you, Mike. What
Yeah,
tire?
we know Hamlin. What's up, man?
H50, buddy.
Yep.
All day.
All day.
Bridgestone H50.
Battle Cruise.
Yep.
Battle Cruise. That tire is awesome. If you don't mind replacing your tires, you want something really, really sticky, buy the Pirelli Night Dragon. But that H50 is very good. That's our most sold tire. I would say that by far. By far.
It made a very drastic change to the way my bike handled for not a lot of money.
We
Very
haven't-
drastic change.
We haven't seen a negative complaint on that tire yet.
Well, the only negative complaints we've had are they're very aggressive tires. So when you corner, it will dive into the corner like a Pirelli, like a really high performance
tips in.
tire, and it does take some people off guard. So some people don't like that real aggressive cornering feel, but if that's the case, we just take care of it.
Chris, call me. I can ship you the tires, man.
Need them ASAP. I bet you do, Chris.
Yeah.
Fun fact, you can't breathe while smiling. Nice. Has Moonshine done any builds M8 with a Pro Charger or turbo, builds that would be for street versus track? We try to stay away from the turbo and the Pro Chargers on the bike. We're just not fans of adding something that's going to be pushing a lot of heat on our leg and put a lot of weight on the bike on one side. Now there is a top secret supercharger that isn't going to hang off one side or the other, that will be center in the bike, that someone's working on. But
Top secret.
we'll rock that guy when it's out. But no, we don't mess with them. We will if you want to, but we try to talk guys out of them until they're stuff, just because the bikes are running hot already.
RTC 465, call me. I think I might have a little hole in the schedule in like 4 or 5 days.
Well,
Might be filled up already. I'm not sure, but
to back up what Jamie just said about the turbo, if you go back to the bagger race that we had last year, the
track
King of the
fight.
Baggers, Trask brought a 200 horsepower turbo bike, and when it was all said and done, putting that power down on the track was no advantage over anybody else.
Well, not only that weight. The weight of that turbo on that bike is a disadvantage on a track, on a road racing course. No. I mean,
it has the spool.
we're making 150, 170 horse on these things, all motor.
Yeah.
Do you need more?
Yeah.
For that, and then you're spending how much
Yes.
is one of those kits? 7, 10 grand with all the parts on some of those kits. You know, I'm just gonna say 5 to 10 grand with all the additional parts. I don't know. I'd rather take that money and put it in the suspension or BST wheels and get the feel of it compared to that stuff. Now, if you want to do it all, absolutely. Special cam, special compression. You know, we'll do one-off stuff for you guys. You need a one-off piston. Don't mind waiting for those cool parts. Absolutely. But you got to be the right customer. You got to have it for the right thing. If you're going to be sitting in traffic a lot, riding the bike on the street a lot like a normal bike, it's not something we're going to build a motor and put it on. That's something where you take a stock motor and just put one of those kits on. And for that money, you buy what we build for the same money, and I think you're going to like the feel of the bike better. It's going to be more responsive, snappy, have a cooler sound.
Won't burn your leg.
I mean, you guys speak your mind. We all have different thoughts and different things, and we all come together on certain projects, but that's where I'm at on it.
I like gas.
I like going fast.
I like money. Yeah, somebody put, what is your favorite build? My favorite build is a Harley that I get to be a part of the build. That's my favorite one.
What do we build?
The next one every week.
I love them. Twin cams, Sportsters. We need to do some videos on these damn radical Sportsters we're putting together.
I wish someone would bring an XR through here. That would be a cool project. Something we haven't seen in a while. You need an XR done? We'd like to do an XR. That would be a fun build. You know, that was one of the bikes that Harley released a little too early. That bike's a ripper.
But
If you have an XR for sale, call me at the shop. I'd like to buy it. Please.
I think I'm gonna. My Sportster's almost ready to put back together, so I think I'm gonna take it apart for 2 more years.
Brother, so you got people that like what you do down here, and we appreciate it. Carl, thank you. Thanks for watching from so far away. Don't know what time it is over there.
oh,
but
Todd Edwards, Shane, where's Shane? We gotta talk about the Buell bolt
Oh yeah, Buell Blast
from
oh, yeah.
last night.
He must have been listening last night.
Yeah, Shane does not like Buell Blasts.
He told us all
hey,
about
hey.
it last night.
Tom Miller wants nitrous. I'm a nitrous fan. I love it. If you don't mind spending extra money, having some cool programming on the bike, have the bottle, know what you're doing about it.
Aren't you working on a manifold that's gonna be really good for maybe plumbing that up?
Solid, maybe. So we're working on a manifold that's made for adding a shot of nitrous or adding some water meth injection. There's some cool new computers out there where you step away from the Harley computer, more for the guys doing the track bikes like the Bagger Racing League and
Yeah,
some
like
other stuff where you
Max
can run a
ECU.
really cool, you can do traction control on it, all kinds of cool stuff. It's
Yeah.
it's what they've had for the drag racing world for a long time, and the computer will do whatever you need it to do. But we can still run that setup with the factory computer and add some stuff on them. Aaron's already playing with it, and we have a new manifold. So it's just these manifolds, when we go to put one in, there's not a really fixed spot anywhere that's in the perfect spot for it. So soon we'll have a solution.
I'm probably gonna end up with a bung like welded on the back of it right there that I can tap.
Yeah, and as soon as I build the one for the M8s, Aaron's gonna be like, oh, I gotta buy an M8 now. Twin
I'm
cam's
gonna buy
old.
an M8 anyway. It's just a matter of
I'm
time.
buying them.
I have to. He's been on me for
Well, if you
a
just
while.
buy an M8, you could ride it tomorrow.
You have to pay for it too.
Yeah, hey. just 12 times a year.
This guy, he's good, man.
12 times a year. That's not bad. Shit.
Finish your drink.
Greg C. must be Campbell. Your bike is ready and it rips. So can't wait to see you on Saturday. That's tomorrow.
That is tomorrow.
What did he get?
Greg C.
Lowrider
says
S?
hereby you got
Lowrider
must
S
be Greg Campbell.
492.
Did he buy one of the promo bikes? Ooh. Thank
It's
you.
all done.
Hope you
Ready
like
to
it.
rock and roll.
You're gonna like it.
Oh.
Is this one with the
We'll call you
seat?
later on the XR1200.
The brown and black seat?
That's Mackie.
Okay.
Yeah, Mac is coming down Tuesday.
Yeah, that bike looks good. Both those bikes look good. They both have the anti-reversion pipe in black,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
One factory and one with a quarter fairing on it.
And I think
Kraus
Greg's
bar
the
setup.
one that we took all the pictures of today. Yeah, it looks great.
We need to tag him in the pictures.
Runs great.
What's his Instagram? Greg, give us your Instagram. We'll tag you in that stuff if you want to be in it. Call Aaron. Give him all the specs. I will call you later on the XR1200. Right there.
Oh,
Hell
nice.
yeah.
You got one now, man. There you go.
Yeah. It's going to be like 20 grand.
You don't have to pay 12 times a year, man.
I was gonna pay once on that one.
Right.
If it's not 20 grand.
Let's see. How bad will it be to rely on the air temperature? Oh, dry nitrogen. So you're talking about doing dry without any kind of like supplemental fuel? Mike would know more about the tolerance of the injector and what it's capable of adjusting for. What do you think, man? What do you think you'd be able to throw at it?
Really, it's just going to depend on how the motor's set up.
Yeah.
Everything depends.
Compression and all
everything
that stuff.
depends. Yeah, with nitrous, everything depends on the internals. Not 20 too much. Not 20 much lower.
Sam,
I mean, it'll run great until it doesn't.
Yeah.
That's the great thing about nitrous.
well,
The thing about nitrous too is like to really lean on nitrous, you got to have the rings set up in it right. There's a lot of
Yeah.
things you got to do to the motor to make it run well on nitrous. So you're kind of playing with the devil a little bit. You could throw nitrous at it until it decides to spit it back at you, and it's going to score a cylinder wall or throw a rod out the bottom of it, one of the two.
That's the part where it doesn't.
That's where it doesn't like it, and it tells you pretty quick.
Like the, my old 2-stroke dirt bikes. Man, this thing's running awesome.
And they run
getting
really
a
good right before
128
that.
stage
Oh,
5
you always
tire shredder done.
when you're riding your 2-stroke and it's running better than it ever has, you sell it. You park it and you don't ride it anymore. You're like, man, that thing has never run that good. You park it and sell it because it's almost done.
Ron Dunn is getting a 128 done on his bike. That motor's probably, with the smart tune, going to make around 120 horse to the ground with the smart tune and their pipe. The 131 makes about 125 with that smart tune and the Harley pipe. If you take that stuff off and do a tuner, you can unleash a lot, but that system holds you back there. Our 128s, real similar to that kit, stock heads like that, we're getting 130, 150 foot-pounds of torque.
I got another call coming in here.
That thing will be a beast if you could change the exhaust.
Call
and the tuner.
from.
Hello?
Hello.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail,
Hello?
press 2.
Hello, hello.
So that, hello.
Hello, hello. Are you there?
Hello.
Hello? I'm here.
We got you.
Hello. Hello.
You got me.
We got you, man.
Yeah.
I was just thanking you for Tuesday. This is Greg from New York.
Hi.
You
Hi,
I'm
hello.
watching the screen and there's like a delay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank you for Tuesday.
Oh,
Had a great day down there, man. You got a hell of a shop, hell of a team.
Greg, I got your VIN number in today. It took me a minute to realize who you were. Got your VIN number in for your Snake Venom today. Bike is going to be a beast. We're excited about it. As soon as it lands, I'll be texting you videos going over it.
Harvey?
Yeah.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
Now we know who you
Yeah,
are.
okay. It just took a minute.
Took us a minute, yeah.
But no, thanks for coming
Yeah.
down, seeing us. We had a little chaotic week. It's a lot. Greg, they're done. They're done with the steel already, so we're much happier. And the snow's gone. Thanks for all the tips on how to handle snow in Tennessee. We didn't know. We pushed it in a pile and it didn't melt. And Mike tried to light it on fire. Then he told me it's made by the government. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, birds aren't real.
Birds aren't real.
Never push snow uphill.
Man, we had a great time with you. Super cool. But we did have a Snake Venom come through the shop today. I wish it came when you were here. It was on a Street Glide special, blacked out. And I will tell you this, if you haven't seen that in person yet, it changes the whole bike, going from the chrome dressings on the bike and all the parts, the accessories, to the fully blacked out one. It is a really good looking bike. So excited to get that thing done. And as soon as the bike's here, I'll text you pictures and go over it. And if there's anything you think of in between now and then, call me and we can always add it.
And that's the problem I was doing is thinking.
I would.
Yes, I will.
You got that 130, that hot 130 in there. The heads we're gonna do on it. It's gonna be a beast. We had who rode that bike today? Around that we built for Escobar, just to the wash bay and back, and was like, oh my god. One of the porters, I can't remember who was giving me the feedback. I think it was Woody. But
Oh, yeah, I think it was Woody.
Yeah, that thing is a beast. Our guys, everyone that rode that same build is like, man, that is a monster. So super excited to get it in your hands. You did it right. Thanks for trusting us.
No, I do. I'm not done. Just regrouping.
Well, we'll have results of that 135 by like Wednesday of next week, so I'll send them to you. Unless you don't want me to.
Thank you so much. Think about brakes now.
Brakes are cool. We didn't actually look at that bike because we went over so many things when you were here, but we like to run the Behringer radial mounted brakes on the stock front ends. They work very, very good. I think you saw Mike's bike. He's got the Brembo radial brakes on that Alley Art front lower. That's a cool setup.
Really cool setup.
Let me know. Anything you've seen out there you want me to go over, me or Aaron can take care of it.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah,
Awesome, man. Thank
anytime.
you.
Have a great night.
See you.
Thanks, Greg.
This is a question I get asked a lot, Mike. Any harm turning off O2 sensor codes, or is that just masking another problem? It depends what your build is, right? And what you're doing could potentially cause a code, like lugging it around if it's a big inch build with big injectors and all that stuff, right?
Well, and Fred's the one that has the 107 with the SNS 465 and the D&D Bobcat. And you're probably getting the codes, like if you sit at a light for a long time and then right when you take off and you kind of come right out of the hole and it might pop a code. The thing with those is they're EPA codes, so even if it only happens for 1 second and the bike runs rich or lean, the code will stay on for 5 or 6 ignition cycles, so it's super annoying. If you clear the codes, it's not going to cause any issues as long as they don't come immediately back. If you clear the code and then start the bike and the code comes right back, then I would take it and have somebody take a look at it. But if you clear it and it goes away and you ride around for another half hour or so and it doesn't come on and then it happens just in that one instance, just kind of log it. And whoever tuned your bike with Power Vision, if you tell them when and where in the RPM and map range that it happens, they can probably just adjust it a little bit and take care of it.
Now to log it, he's gonna have to be plugged in.
No, just like if you're idling and it's 80 degrees and then you take off with a light throttle and it happens right after takeoff at like 2,200 RPMs or so.
Your dealer cut the O2 sensor off permanently.
I don't recommend that.
Yeah. Visit another dealer.
Yeah, you want the O2 sensors to run because your ECM takes live data from the O2 sensor input.
So you're like halfway between the full fuel injection system and a carburetor at that point. You're
So,
a carburetor is just set. You can't.
They probably put a cheater in, so it's always getting a constant signal. So your ECM can't make the adjustments for the
Altitude, humidity, temperature, anything that's going on there. We need that in there. So when you go from Florida to Colorado, the bike can do the adjustments it needs to for the air quality and density it's getting, and that's what that's there. We do a map, and the map is the baseline for those sensors to go up and down from. And the better your baseline is, the more accurate it's going to be all over. So
you
absolutely,
need a drink, man.
Mike, take a shot. No, then I'll have to hold his hand, and talk about stuff I don't want to talk about because I had a hard day.
He's the one he's worried about.
Next thing you know, you show me videos of stuff that I don't know if it's real or fake, or if he made it with Randy, our guy here. D, Chicago. Which one's that?
I don't know. The D out of Chicago.
D, it's
the guy that we did the cables.
Oh,
it was Mars.
Yeah.
Right?
What's up, D?
D, what's up, buddy? Can you run down some less expensive options for a V-twin that will give my little 103 a couple more HP?
Yes, a cam. Or we can put high comp pistons in it and turn it into a nasty little high comp 103 like we did before for not a whole lot of money. We were talking about that, I thought, man.
Well, comment with what is the less expensive budget.
maybe.
Right.
Let us know. I mean, is it $7,000? Is it $1,000? That's what we need to know. But absolutely, call Aaron when we're not on here and tell him what you're thinking.
No, we've been talking a long time. We've been going over some options for him.
Here's a really good one. Nick Hildebridal.
Wait, let me answer this one real quick. Every time we go over, it's back to D. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
Every time we go over a less expensive build and the guy does it, he's like, man, I wish I would have done the full build. I wish I just would have done it, because anytime you do the smaller build and then we do the next build,
It feels good for a little while.
Yeah, you're always spending more over the course of everything you do. And that's kind of when we figured out, we lose something?
Is he calling?
You got a battery?
Yeah, we got another one coming in here.
That's when we figured out we would just get a financing option to handle the motor builds.
Call us, D.
To
We'll
accept,
go over
press
it.
1.
Yeah,
To
call us
send a
up, D.
voicemail, press 2.
All right, can you hear us?
You sure can.
Awesome.
Hey,
What's up, man? What's your name?
My name's Dwight,
Dwight, where you calling from?
Canada.
Nice, man.
Right on, man.
Hey, listen, I watch you guys all the time and really enjoy your videos. I did want to ask you a question. When it comes to oils with motors, what do you guys recommend? I've been using semi-synthetic for years and years, and with regular intervals, I found that I've got excellent life out of my motors. But I've got M8. I have the M8 motor now, and I'm just wondering what you guys recommend.
How many miles on it? And what have you done to it?
Oh, right now it's still stock. I'm utilizing my warranty for a bit before I do anything major. Because with Canada, we're a lot different than the States. We have a lot more restrictions in a sense. But years ago, I had my Evo, and I had the 89-inch Sidewinder kit with headwork and the wood cams. Out of my one build I had done, it had about 250,000 kilometers.
What, 180?
So
180,000?
for miles, that would be well over 100,000.
Yeah, 150, right up there.
Yeah.
For a stock motor, Syn 3 works great. We like the Syn, and as long as you're changing it, you're probably changing it, regularly. And that's the key.
Yeah.
If you're changing it
Yeah,
on
yeah.
time, how many miles do you go between change?
Well, Harley recommends up here 8,000 kilometers, which is 5,000 K. I usually dump out the oil and change the filter halfway through.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, you can run conventional oil.
Yeah.
And you're
It's
good
getting
because
cheaper.
you're just putting the oil in there so fast before it gets broke down and before it gets dirty and the detergents clean everything off of the cylinder wall. So your success comes from your attention to the maintenance cycle and just being loyal with it. I like the Syn 3. It's available at every Harley dealership. If you want to go with something, we do like the Bel Ray synthetic. We run that in the motors. Yeah. It's great, but for what you're doing, you can run the cheaper synthetics and you're not going to have a problem, especially on the stock setup. So,
but you're saying those semi-synthetic oils like I'm using, like you would say go to synthetic?
I like the synthetic in them. I mean, the manufacturers now all produce a synthetic and they have them with their label on them. You buy a Honda, it's got Honda on the oil. You go to GM, you're getting their stuff. If you buy a Harley, you're getting our oil. So when the engineers design that motor, they're designing it around the specs or they're not designing it around the specs of the oil. They're designing it and they're taking the oil that they produce and put their name on to have the exact specs that they need for the motor. And that's what they're looking at. And, when I buy a Honda, I put all Honda oil in it. My Harley, I have all Harley oil in my Harley, typically. Now when we do some of the race stuff, that's when we'll go up to the Bel Ray. But for a stock bike, we like the stock manufacturer's oil. We do like the full synthetic. We do like it. For break-in, just do your normal break-in period. But after the break-in period, absolutely.
Yeah. I just find there's such a big difference with the pricing for synthetic, especially for us up here, right?
Right.
Well, as often as you're changing your oil, that semi-synthetic is great. I mean, I think that's a great mix because you're changing it halfway through what you should. You can let that oil go 5,000, but changing it around 2,000 American miles, man, that's awesome. That's what we do for our bikes, and a lot of customers do it because they want to take care of their Harley. So you can keep with that synthetic, and you've had success with the semi-synthetic. So if you like it, stay with it, but you can run either or.
Well, the whole thing is that it's the contaminants and the dirt and everything, as the oil gets used. And if you dump out before it starts looking ugly in that, then you're going to have less problems in my point of view anyways.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
So the mileage that you put on, whether it's synthetic or petroleum-based oil,
they still get as much dirt and contaminants in it. So just put in clean oil. It's the cheapest maintenance you can do.
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, my bike, I actually change the oil sometimes without the filter when I'm doing it at that half interval like you're doing. I'm not always changing the filter.
Yeah.
I'll just dump the oil, put the brand new oil in. I'll let the filter go to the interval Harley says for the maintenance schedule just to get the clean oil in there. So are you doing the same thing?
No, I usually do oil and filter.
Yeah.
I mean, like, filters are cheap, and if you get some sort of blockage at some point, like, just toss the filter. It's not really that big of a deal to me.
Yeah, rock on. You're doing it right. I would keep on it. But you can run either or.
Yeah.
You're going to be great.
I watch your videos. I like what you guys do. I wish we could do more of that up here and that, but, maybe time it'll change.
We have a lot of customers by you.
Yeah.
We have a lot of guys from Canada. You'd be surprised. I would say a good 10 to 15% of our
I'm
business.
shipping 2 full motor kits to Canada right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but how does that, well, that's going to affect the warranty, though, won't it?
Yeah.
Only if it breaks.
Yes.
That's the problem right now. And the thing is if, like, I bought the 7-year, and it's just simply because if some stupid little part goes, I mean, it could be $1,000, right?
Yeah,
be,
it
quickly.
could be. Now, the aftermarket warranty a lot of times will cover the parts and stuff in the motor. It just depends on the shop and what's going on with the bike. But a lot of times the extended, when you get into that 3rd year, when you leave from the factory to your Harley warranty and you roll into their extended program, that extended program will usually take care of most of the stuff that you have go wrong on your bike. Do we have a lot of,
I know it'll do any of the Screaming Eagle stuff, but if you go to the aftermarket stuff, then it changes.
It does, but a lot of it depends on who is doing your warranty service for you. So I would probably ask questions to your local dealership or your local shop and see that handles those kind of warranty jobs and see how they are. Some shops just don't like trying to work with people on warranty. And we really do. We try to work as much as we can to be the liaison between our customers and the warranty company so we can get a lot of it covered.
Yeah, actually, the dealership I deal with up here, they're really good. I mean, they'll warranty whatever they do, but if you go to somewhere else, if you have a problem, now you could be different situation.
Sure.
well, you could do one of their kits. You could do one of our kits. Maybe we could talk to them, have them install it, walk them through it. You have options there, We have a lot of different things we can talk about. So I would talk to their service manager would probably be the best start at the dealership. Not a sales guy, not just a parts guy or service guy. I would go to the manager. You probably already have a relationship with him, and I'd hear him out about it.
Oh, yeah.
And, we have some stuff that they just don't have access to, and maybe they just have the Harley parts where we have those custom kits that are, relatively the same price with a little cooler advantage. But it just depends on what you want to do. We'll help you any way we can.
Yeah. Hey, no worries. Hey, I like your exhaust sitting there. I got home from the gym, so I'm just looking at this. I turned you guys on. But you guys never really mentioned the S&S exhaust. You guys always seem to use a lot of their products, but you don't mention their exhaust much.
That's from Mike.
Yeah.
Well, we make our own, so.
I know. I'm looking at it.
Yeah. That's the biggest reason we don't really mention their exhaust much.
Well, and a lot of times when we're talking about these bigger builds we're doing. We're not talking about a stock bike. I mean, if you're just doing a stock bike with some stuff on it, S&S makes that 2-in-1 Sidewinder. It's a really good pipe.
Yeah, Grand Nationals.
Yeah.
I run Grand Nationals on my Dyno. They make great products.
Now, if we were doing mufflers and we had a pick, we like our mufflers for a stock motor because we have baffles designed.
Actually, addressing Del Monte, like he asked twice, what would be a good slip-on muffler rather for a stage 2?
So what we do is we have our muffler, Chromeworks makes it, and we have a baffle for if you're running a stock setup. And then let's say you go to a cam setup, we have a baffle for that. Then let's say you go to one of these crazy setups. We had our mufflers on a bike today, did well over 150 horsepower. So our muffler can handle stock to a cam bike, to a bike without heads, to a bike with heads, and we have a step program, and you don't have to buy a new muffler.
Yeah, the muffler
That's what we
body
like.
stays the same. The baffle inside changes out, and it'll live,
Yeah.
live with whatever stage of build you want, from bone stock, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4 plus.
Yeah. Hey, you guys, thanks for your time and your answers.
Yeah.
And you guys are doing an awesome job. I really enjoy the videos.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dwight. Thanks for
Yeah.
riding Harley, buddy. Keep it up.
Okay, take care.
You too.
So what else we got?
There was one earlier that it said he had an O2 bagger with a carburetor. Had $1,000.
biking.
What would be the best upgrade for $1,000 on an O2 carbureted bike? So
I was thinking of that the whole freaking time.
intake and exhaust would be number one. If you have those, I would buy a Makuni HSR 42 flat slide carburetor because it will feel like you put a top end on that bike. That's it.
Yeah. What Mike said.
I'm done.
Someone's asking about the flathead. He's talking about this guy. I'm going to knock everything off the table. Randy, can you zoom in to that guy?
Dog
That has a
balls.
baffle with the dog balls in the back of it. And that's what makes it so responsive. It's not just the torque it makes on the bike. It's when you hit the throttle at different RPMs, just riding the bike, it's super responsive.
Oh, I thought it was just how badass it looked. I thought that's
Oh,
where all the power
oh,
was.
look.
Oh,
Ginzilla.
dog balls. Look how tall he is.
Look at him.
We had to heighten all the doors.
This is going on one of our guys' bikes tomorrow. That works for us. Pre-seasoned. Thanks.
Do we have the ability to finance a big motor build and a new scooter purchase? Yes, we do.
What was the question again?
Do you have the ability to finance big motor build and new scooter purchase?
Yeah, so
And we have a promotion.
well on that setup, when we finance through Harley-Davidson Financial, they give us more leg room for money to use beyond the bike than any other bank. If a bike, I'm just going to use round numbers. You can't put people on hold.
We're being summoned.
We have to answer them right away.
It's the bat
Or not
phone,
that-
man. We
okay.
have to answer.
We'll learn on that next time.
Call me. We'll
It's the Moonshine hotline. This might be
Call
our.
from-
This would be Bob calling in.
Daryl.
Bob Slidell.
How we
To
doing?
accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
How we doing tonight?
Good. How y'all doing?
Good, good. Who we
man.
speaking with?
This is Daryl Ferguson. I live down near New Orleans.
Right on.
Nolans.
Yeah, I saw
Daryl.
Slidell come up on there. I know where that is.
Oh yeah. I'm not far from Slidell.
Nice. How can we help you tonight,
I
Daryl?
sent you a little message saying, look, I got a 2017 Road Glide, and I was an early adopter, so it was a piece of crap. So I've been adding on to it slowly but surely. S&S, cam plate, oil pump, 114 Harley kit, springs, woods cam, the 222.
The
That's a Dark Horse crank compensator, rather, or sprocket.
is it the
Barnett
22X or the
Flex.
XE?
It's a 222.
Oh, a 222.
It's just a 222.
Okay.
Yep. Well, going early, I've got this hodgepodge of stuff. So I kind of want to know, where do I go from here? How do I kind of rein this in now?
What do you have for exhaust?
Do I go
missed
to
that.
heads? Oh, I got the ones y'all hate.
Vance
Power
and Hines.
duals.
You have
Yeah,
power
Vance
duals?
and Hines power dual.
I would start there.
Yeah. There's a Screaming Eagle slip-ons with it.
Ooh. Yeah.
That's actually probably improving the performance of those power dual headers.
Yeah, it's small.
Yeah, so you probably have a pretty big hole right where you like to ride, right? Then you got to downshift every time you want to have any kind of power.
Yeah, and it gets up and goes once I get about $3,000.
Yeah. Well, going to a better performing exhaust will definitely wake that ride up. And even if you want to do motor improvements after that, you're going to want to change your exhaust out.
Yeah.
Okay, so what exhaust would you recommend? You know, big bagger.
Well,
big old fat sloppy biker.
do you want to continue with the engine build, or do you want to just kind of rein it in and make it run good with the setup that you have now?
Well, I'd like to both. I'd like to change the pipes if necessary, and I'd like to throttle body maybe with some heads. And would that be good enough, or am I just throwing good money after bad?
I wouldn't put heads on a bike with stock compression.
Well, it's not. It's a 114 kit.
It's 11-1.
Oh, it is 11
It's a hot 114.
Yeah, you could put heads on that.
If you're going to do the heads, I would, once you take the heads off, it's cost inhibitive to not just bump it up to a 124 at that point. You know what I mean? Because you're going to spend an extra $1,000 for the cylinders and the pistons, but you're already going to be paying the labor to do it. So if you were going to do heads, then you might as well just kind of start over and do the whole thing again. It sucks, but we do this quite a bit. If you don't want to come out,
I was just wondering,
go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
If you don't want to come out the extra cash to do all that, I would just grab a full sack head pipe, and you will have an immediate performance improvement with that. And you can still run the Screaming Eagle mufflers. Those are really good mufflers. You can do way worse than those for sure.
Yeah, and if you wanted to buy mufflers, we would pair ours because then we could step ours up when you step up the motor.
With the right baffle.
The full sack would be great. A D&D billet cat would be a good setup pipe for what you're doing as well. That would be a good exhaust that would handle both of them, both motor builds. It's a 2-in-1. They have a ghost pipe on the other side. Just depends on what setup you want to go with. If you do the motor build right away, we would move you from the full sack to our Pro Stock header, which is a full sack that's larger, bigger, fits underneath the factory heat shields just like them, runs the same mufflers. You can run our mufflers with it if you go to something bigger, and that way it's more maneuverable. But the reason why Mike's saying to do the pistons and the cylinders is when you take the heads off, a lot of guys don't realize it's not like a small block Chevy or Ford. When you take the bolts off the heads, those bolts are also holding the jug to the base of the motor. So the gasket underneath the base has to be replaced. So we got to pull your whole jug off of the studs and replace the base gasket.
And then hone the cylinders and re-ring it.
Yep. So,
Okay.
that's why at that point you're so far into it, we might as well just get you a little more, and then you can bump up to a 124 piston. We can go those Total Seal gas ported rings we have and get you a brand new cylinder, and then you're going to make even more, and you're going to like it.
You're going to be in the mid 120s in horsepower on stock heads with the right cam. Then I would say put our 492 cam in it with the header, do a larger injector, maybe then think about going with a larger throttle body or at least a manifold.
I do have the larger injectors.
What do you have, a
The
5.5?
Screaming Eagle.
Yeah.
The 5.5. Yeah, if we did a 124 set up the way that we do it, we would put you on a 6.2.
The 5.5s might get in there, though.
The 5.5s would work.
The 5.5s would work. We could probably save that injector. We'll get tuning it. If the duty cycle is getting too high on those injectors, we'll let you know. But as long as we tune it, that injector should handle that motor. If we get to the part in the dyno where it's too heavy, we'll just call you, swap out the injector. Hey, we need to go to it. We have a little room for a bigger injector. But, that 492 cam at that point, if we just do it, you're getting 130 roughly horsepower, 150 foot-pounds of torque in that range, give or take, 4 or 5. And then if you want to put heads, that's a whole nother ballgame. We're talking 140s and up, easy, with heads on that motor.
Well, I was just wondering if there was enough of a gain to put heads on it, since the stock heads are pretty good with my setup. But if I go to 124, we'll probably definitely go with heads.
Yeah, we have 114s with heads running mid 130s on horse and torque. On 114s that are awesome.
We had a 114 own the dyno drags.
It beat me.
Yeah.
114 with our ported head and the right cam in it, which I don't think he wants anyone to know about. But yeah, it spanked everybody.
Yeah, he's in here for his third tranny.
Yeah, it's a super hot.
That's a hot.
Oh yeah,
side.
well, I'm working on my second tranny now.
Yeah, there you go. And really what it is it just depends on how big of a box you want to open, So that's why when we talk about it, when you call Aaron in the morning, that's why it's 30, 45 minutes the first conversation, so we can dial down, what exactly, how far do you want to go? Because there's really no limit. It's just depending on okay, that's enough for me.
Right, understand. Okay, well, I know the next step. Call Aaron, send deposit.
That's it.
Well, Aaron's busy too, so if Aaron, you can't get him because he gets a lot of phone calls in a day, and sometimes it takes him 2 or 3 days to get to everything. I'm on the team. He asked for Jamie, and we have a gentleman named Nick on the team as well. So any one of us
You're
will
a
get to you.
doppelganger for my brother-in-law, so. It'd be like talking to my brother-in-law talking to you, Jamie. All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Thank
You
you.
bet, man.
guys.
Thank you. Thanks for calling.
I'll call in the morning.
Look at it's Doug.
All right, thank you.
Look at it's Doug. Come on now.
We should make T-shirts that have that hashtag.
But I agree. I'm telling you, we need to make a shirt that has an eagle carrying an Indian and feeding it to its chicks, like at the nest.
In pieces or whole?
Just pieces of the Indian just falling off, and the little bird, the little chicks just reaching up and grabbing it.
Hey, Aaron. Seth here. Just making sure you guys got my email. Have you been having issues with getting my emails?
You mean if it's in the stack that's about
it's
that
hard to
thick,
say.
I'm doing my best to get through them, man. Trust me. I do call everybody. It takes me a while sometimes.
Seth, email us at horsepower@moonshineharley.com because I'll go through them, and if I have some spare time, I'll call you and handle it. And then if we get it all going, I'll dish it over to Aaron and put you on top of the list. A lot of guys don't realize that we get a lot of phone calls when we're busy. Sometimes we're just like, hey, man, if you're ready to go, $1,000 deposit, we'll put you at the top of the list. And guys give us a $1,000 deposit just to quote it, and they go straight to the top of the list. We're busy. We're trying to get some more guys on the team, but we need guys that have the knowledge we have because we need them putting the right parts in your bike. We don't want to get someone on the team to get to you quicker and then not get everything accomplished correctly. So the team will grow. We have 2 guys in training, but it takes a good year for them to understand all the parts, what to do, which ones to pick, and you'll meet those guys when they're ready to be on the team to handle your needs. But in the meantime, that's the quickest way to get done. We'll get to you, not saying we won't get to you, but there's some guys that are just ready to go, have the money, and then there's other guys in our stack that are trying to do some stuff 3, 4, 5 months from now and want a conversation, and there's other guys that just want recommendations. So the guys ready and needing the parts on their bikes this week or next week, and they're trying to pay today, we do move those guys to the top of the stack. Unfortunately,
Absolutely.
that's kind of how it works. Just there is a business aspect of this going on as well.
Yeah, and the conversation's the same. I mean, even if we find out, 15 minutes into the conversation that, hey, you're actually planning to do this in June or July, that's 15 minutes that it took me to get to that point to then realize that I've got to get to the next guy that's like chomping at the bit, ready to go. So I try to move as quick as I can and get through them, but I do take the time to talk to everybody and really get to the details of what needs to be done. So
I bought Aaron
every one of those calls is important.
We got Aaron a new desk, gave him a lot more space, and we figured it'd be all nice looking. And this, he's got papers everywhere. He's a paper hoarder. He's a hoarder
I'm not
of papers.
trying to hoard paper. It's out of necessity. It drives me nuts because I'm kind of OCD.
Clean this up. It's a mess.
I walked up to his desk yesterday and I was like, there's supposed to be another person over here, right? I mean,
Man,
He's got like 9 exhaust systems on the ground hanging on the wall by him. He's got 10 different customers' handlebars. And
it's come to a point where I've realized that
I think he's trying to powder coat stuff while he's talking to you. Sandblasting with the other hand.
the best option was
His
to just
file-
spread out and let it happen, and
his
then wait
file
until the
system-
tidal wave kind of recedes, and then I can, get back to cleaning every day again.
It's going to be Miss Tracy's new job.
yeah, his file system is the
organizer.
challenge coins.
These are all the people you called today.
I have it marked.
Yeah, all the challenge coins hold down different customers' paperwork.
Tracy and call him, sir, you're 3 days out. He's on the schedule. Guys, we appreciate all you guys calling in. If we got stuff coming, we'll go to 8:30. But if it
Thank
dies
you,
off,
Bob.
we'll shut it.
Bob's got my back. He knows.
Where's Bob? Prestridge?
He goes, y'all stop picking on me. Thank you.
Is it true if you don't use it, you lose it?
Jake.
Like bags of sand.
Should do a video of how
Have we
you
done
all
a
met
tri-glide build?
and how this
Yes,
thing-
we've done some tri-glide builds.
Well, we met Aaron because he said he was moving here and wanted a job, and we're like, cool. Right? It's pretty much how you got on the team.
Told you I was coming, and you were like, I think I showed up, and you were like, damn, you were serious.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I am. I was really serious.
He's like, I'm gonna come work for you in like a year. We're gonna do this. Okay, cool. Yeah. Come see me in a year. Shows up. He's like, man, I just moved. Oh shit. Okay. Here's some paperwork, and let's move a spot for your
Let's
desk.
go.
Oh, you know about motors? Okay, cool. We found Mike carrying bags of sand around the shop pushing a toolbox and
Lived in a motorhome.
lived in a motorhome. And he came to work for us, and then he told me it was a mistake, but he never talked to me before. And
Yeah,
we're here.
Jamie didn't hire me.
Well, I had a guy hire him. I told the guy I needed the best tuner, and then he got Mike to show up.
I showed up in a motorhome, and Jamie said,
Do you
the
drive
new
this
employee? And I
everywhere?
said, this shop sucks.
Back then, absolutely.
And that's kind of how we met.
Well, it took a year for me and Mike to figure out our capabilities together, and it works out great. We all get along so well, and we're very like-minded, and we're all so different. So, you know, a lot of personalities going on in the shop, not only with these guys, but the other guys you don't meet every day. Jordan,
The Devils.
I mean, that guy is just...
Yeah.
what do I do with my hands? He doesn't want to be on video.
Post Malone.
He's like, just let me talk to my tools and the bike and go make some noise in the dyno.
I think we need to.
Yeah, we missed
we
that
need to
soundtrack
get some
from that.
money from Post Malone because I think his likes went up once people started seeing Jordan.
Oh yeah, he probably did. Aaron got a notification that Motor Witch handlebars are headed your way for my bike.
Cool.
Boom.
Cool.
Oh
Yep,
yeah.
on the way.
I hope they packaged them well so they show up nice.
You guys going to Daytona?
We need to do a Daytona trip one day.
We'd like to do Daytona, but then Aaron wouldn't be able to call you back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
The stack would be that thick.
We do Daytona right here.
no, we will start doing Daytona. It's hot and heavy. We have a lot of pieces moving. Maybe, I don't know. We'll carve out some time, but there's some other stuff on our agenda we want to do. We have some new bikes coming out from Harley. We want to do some trips. We want to do some trips with customers. We want to do some rides with you guys, and we feel that's important, so we'll have some of that stuff come out. So keep watching. Watch our social media, and we'd like to do a couple night ride with some of you guys on some really cool roads and do a little more meet and greet and test out bikes and see your bikes and how everyone handles the road.
Damn,
Aaron,
China.
your hair is
China
perfect.
virus.
Beer's awesome, Mike. I love that shoulder patch.
America, baby.
America.
We done?
Oh.
I guess that's it. Is that
Oh,
how we,
there
is
it
that
is.
how we
It's
end?
back.
Oh,
Mike, you
okay.
must not look good. So he's like, I like the patch in your shoulder.
I look perfect.
Thanks, boss. We
I got
appreciate
another-
all the
I got-
compliments.
I got one more coming in here.
Damn China virus.
Call from.
Jeff.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
All right, can you hear us?
Hello.
Jeff, you there?
Hello.
Hey.
Yes,
there he
sir.
is.
Yes, sir, I am.
What's up?
Hey, like all your videos, been watching them a long time. I got a question about the tensioner, primary tensioner.
Yep.
I've been using that for quite some time on some twin cam builds, and I just happen to have one sitting around on the shelf. And I put it in my M8. Any problems with is there an older version, newer version?
You have to have the HB 12507 to go into the newer bike.
No, it's the same number.
Right? Go to the early version.
It's the
I
same.
mean, they look like.
So
We made a couple of revisions to the
Yeah.
To
the base plate.
the base plate and the ball bearing, but it should work just fine as long as you space the chain.
do you have a micrometer?
Yes.
Okay, if you can figure out, if you're not watching this, you watch the video, but there's a hole in the bottom where that ball sits. Mic the width of that hole and call me or Aaron and give that measurement, and we can see what the width of ours is. Do we have more plates?
Yeah.
We have plates. There's a plate that these 4 screws hold in. We can send you a new plate just to help you out for being one of our customers and watching.
Okay.
Okay, because what we did
Thanks
is
so much.
the plate's thicker now. The hole's a little different size. Everything else is the same, and it is a little different setup. It works a little better.
Okay, I will. Next time I change the primary fluid, I will pull the cover and measure that.
So the very first one's a long time ago. There's a little spring. If a spring's not hanging out the bottom at all, you're good to go.
No, there's no spring. It's a ball.
Yeah, but there's
Yeah.
a spring that holds the ball in, and what's happening is when it was getting work, every once in a while the spring would catch and stick out the bottom a little bit. It still works, but the fluid would leak down a little quicker. So there was revisions made years ago for that guy, but I don't know when you bought it and which one you have, so let's just check it out. But if there's no spring, a little piece hanging out the bottom, you're pretty good. It's working perfect.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Is this take A or take B? Bob from last night. Roy. No record button.
Yeah. Yeah, on the Talking Brad podcast. We did 45 minutes of the podcast, and he's like, oh, hey, I didn't push record.
It was 30 minutes, but
Explain
yeah.
the difference in your plate and HD. Lawrence, you're talking about the
cam plate?
The cam plate, SNS or a fueling? Give us another response back and let us know clarify for us and we'll go over it. Chevy Chase Mike.
And Mr. Mooney was asking, man, that's a detailed conversation, man. Your bike is already built pretty good, so I hear you. I know you want some help. Give me a call.
Thanks,
and
Ron.
I'll help you out.
Ron, you're the best. Awesome. No, primary. Explain the difference.
Must be
The tensioner. So Harley's tensioner, when your chain stretches and has movement, it's got a spring and it has a lock system. So on the Harley chain, as it gives this way, it ratchets up and never comes back down. It's got a wedge in here that locks in. It can never go back down.
It's like a sawtooth.
Yeah, so as it works its way up and never goes back down, this guy will pump up and give you steady pressure while the bike's running. And as that chain gets hotter, it stretches a little bit. This pumps up more as the bike rides. Then when you shut the bike off and the chain wants to come down, this guy over time bleeds out the bottom of the valve in the bottom here and will eventually come down so there's no hydro lock in this. It works just like a lifter on a motor, same exact way. So as you start the bike again, it pumps right back up and pressurizes that chain. The difference is ours readjust every time you ride. Sometimes that Harley one gets ratcheted really, really tight, and then it doesn't really fix itself until the shoe wears. And this guy handles everything better, smooths out that primary chain, keeps it from bouncing. One day we'll do a video maybe on my bike where we put a Harley primary chain in there and we run it on the dyno and we film it, and then we'll put one of these guys in there primed up and show you the difference of what it does at idle. Just at idle alone, it does a difference. If you put this on your bike and it's a completely stock bike, stock application, you will feel a difference. So very, very nice piece. They're $149.95. Inexpensive for what this does for you. Really cool piece. Aaron, sorry, no calls for a week. Just got back from Daytona. Chris, hope you had fun, buddy. That's cool. Don't worry, Aaron had plenty of phone calls. He's doing all right. We had a tough week as well with the storm, so we're running behind. So hot and heavy. So perfect time to not get to us, actually, boss man. But call us when you need us. Benefit to having a 180 millimeter wide tire kit. Sorry, I missed the answer earlier.
The front tire he's talking about.
The answer for us is no. You know, and we go back to MotoGP racing, where if a fatter front tire would be better for cornering, you would see fat tires on the front of the MotoGP bikes. They'd have 180s on them. They don't.
They do look tough.
They look cool.
Yeah, the benefit is it is an aggressive look. It's awesome. We love the look of it.
And both those bikes have wide front tires.
Yeah, I mean, now I guess the benefit to a fat 180 tire is if you're a highway cruiser and you're on the highway, there's more air in that tire, there's more cushion in the tire. It's going to be a plusher ride at 80, 90 miles an hour on a straight road. It is going to have more air, more float in that tire. That would be the benefit.
It might not catch grooves as much, just kind of float over stuff.
Yeah, it could catch more because it's wider though.
You think so?
You know, it could pull more. If you put real
I
wide
haven't ridden
tires on the back of the car,
so
it pulls
I don't
more. I don't know. He would know more, some of the other guys, but it will be a plusher ride at higher speeds in a straight line. Cornering, there's no cornering benefit from the 180. It's heavier.
It looks great.
Yeah.
It looks cool.
So if you're going for performance, keep the stock size, put a BST on that bad boy, rock and roll.
Put the BST on it.
Green ones. Aaron has them. Call
I
him.
don't have.
I
don't have green BSTs.
Aaron has the hookup for green BSTs.
They're like a goldish yellow puke color. If you don't want that, I might put them on my bike. They look good.
It's a unicorn.
The other thing with the tire, if you want to run that fat 180 front tire to offset some of the extra weight, if you put a BST on that guy, on that setup, to reduce the weight with the heavier tire, now you're kind of playing with it's lighter, but
Yeah.
you have the fatter tire and the look you want, and you don't sacrifice as much. So when we go to a 21-inch tall aluminum rim, it's heavy. And that heaviness and the geometry of the bike changes, so we lower it back down, and the bike feels okay, feels better, not as good as stock. But then if we lower it down and change the weight with a BST and take the weight off of the extra heavy 21, they actually feel great. A 21-inch tall front wheel on a bagger in a BST lowered down after you put it on feels very nice. We've done a couple of them now.
We did a 21 with a Legend 1-inch lower on a bike, and the guy could not believe the transformation in what it did to that bike. It already had a built motor in it, and then we did some brakes and a 21 front with the gloss black 21 BST in the front and the 18.55 in the back, and it ripped. It
I don't always
really
do
woke it up.
21-inch fronts, but when I do,
When
the
you do,
green
it's going to be
BSTs,
carbon fiber. It's going to be carbon fiber.
And they're a little over $2,000 a rim, and then we have some options for some bearings and some other things. And a lot of guys, when they are doing that, we are putting Galfer or Brake Tech rotors on them.
Why
Our
are
green
tires-
BST's faster. No, they're about 8
Yes,
to 10
yes,
weeks
they are.
slower.
They are faster, and Aaron can give
They're
you
8 to
tire
10
hookup
weeks
on them.
slower.
Hey, wide tires don't go through snow as well either. Thank you for the pro tip.
I love
Pro
it.
tip.
Would Aaron have made it to work if he was riding that bike instead of his BMW?
If
to
you
work
would have
that
seen
day?
the road I was on, not only would I have crashed, I probably would have burned.
I
on
think if
top
I
of it.
was driving your car, I would have made it over that hill.
I think you are absolutely full of shit.
I would have made it over that hill. Hell yeah, I
Because
would have.
the dude with the 4x4
Aaron was
that
driving
went up
like
after
Mr.
me and
Rogers.
crashed into the other car would disagree.
When
Because
showed
he was
me
the same way. He was
pictures, I
super
was like,
brave.
well, where's the hill? Is it over?
Don't
Is
call
it
me
outside
Revy
of the
for
camera?
Next time it snows, I'm going to call you over and send you up that hill, Mr. Brave.
I'll do it. In your car? Hell yeah. I'll floor that my car. In your car, done. I'm
Like
sending
Dukes
it.
of Hazzard.
Oh, I'm making it over. I just don't know where we're going to end up.
Shit.
Okay.
That was
In your
bad.
car? Hell yeah.
William Wade, yes, the exhaust does come in black. We can get it in black, polished, or raw stainless.
For which pipe? This one?
You don't get any of them in black.
Yeah. We'd have to
We like
custom
black.
the black.
Custom.
It would be longer to get it, but yes, absolutely.
Mike, you were saying something
Warranty,
earlier.
warranty, how much? They're, depending on years you go, from 1 to 3 years extra on your extended warranty, our performance coverage, it ranges from about $2,000 to $2,800. I can't remember exactly offhand, but it's in that range depending on the years you pick out and the bike you have. Each bike's a little different. We have a price out a little different for the smaller bikes as we do the bigger bikes. If you don't have GPS on the bike, it is cheaper as well. If you want GPS protection, it is a little bit more for that stuff. We've customized that custom coverage to cover exactly what you want or don't want. So it is cool, and we will have that warranty. We will pay any Harley shop in the country to fix your bike. So you can even take it to some really good dealers outside the Harley network if we know them.
Hey, Fred, give me a call in the morning, and we can go over some of the symptoms your bike has, so I can help you out when you go talk to your dealer.
Oh, it was Pucky Fuckerson.
Fucky Fuckerson.
Fucky Fuckers. That's a great name.
Maybe that really is his name. You don't know.
I love it.
Fucky Fuckerson and hello, hello.
He had to be one tough kid growing up. Well, if that's his real name, he was punching everyone in the
He
nose.
was like, man, I wish my name was
He probably
Sue.
broke like 30 noses before he was out of elementary school. Just, wah!
He listened to My Name is Sue by Johnny Cash, was like, why couldn't my name be Sue?
Best M8 Softail rear suspension to lift the bike. I put the Oleans on the back of mine. I love them. Nick is rocking those on the back of his bike. There's some other really cool ones.
What, an M8 Softail.
Oh, M8
Monoshock.
Softail. I'm sorry, I didn't see that.
The RWDs.
RWD is nice setup.
Really good.
We installed a Fox too. What do you think of that Fox?
I like the Fox. It's big.
It is, yeah.
It's like, just like physically, like, you're
it's like a
damn.
car spring.
Yeah. But it's a good shock. It's real stiff, but I'm kind of fond of the RWD myself.
And what lift did we put on that FXDR, that little spacer? Who made that?
That's just a bunking.
Oh, Bunking made that?
The
Yeah.
1 inch
Yeah, we did an FXDR
Extension
with
plate.
extension piece on it, lifted it, did a tail.
The
delete.
warranty runs $2,000 to $2,800 depending on how many years you add, what bike you have, and if you have GPS. I see you going on, and we just went over it, but just so you get it again, depending on if you're adding 1 year to 3 years extra, it is in the range of $2,000 to $2,800, and we will cover the first 2 years of the Harley warranty too. So if you're under factory warranty, something breaks, you go in a dealership like, oh, you have all these Moonshine parts and it makes all this horsepower, we can't warranty it. Well, our warranty will cover on top of it. It will, in case Harley says no, we'll cover you in that situation. Super cool. We were glad to bring that out. A lot of guys are getting it, using it. They love it. We want you to ride with all the power now. We're tired of guys saying, man, when my warranty runs out, I'm going to do this when my warranty runs out. I'll do this in 2 years. Who wants their stuff done in 2 years? I want my stuff now. Build it now. We'll cover you. Just buy the warranty. Don't worry about it. Beat it up. Let's go. Send it like I would send Aaron's car over that hill. And if you crash, you have insurance. If it blows up, you got our warranty. Bam. Boom.
It would have been better if I ended up hitting the tree and ended up
Wait,
in
we
flames.
have a lot of witnesses. Next time it snows, I'm driving your car over that hill. Right? We did that?
Yeah.
Done. Just have your truck warmed up while we're doing it.
So I can pull you out.
Well, we're going to make it over the hill.
I had to get a tractor.
You didn't say what happened to happen over the hill. I don't care what you get.
I turned my ass around and went home.
Well, I'll have my truck down. Stand by.
It was bad.
Mike will watch. He'll be there whenever. He's ready to watch. He's like, I got to see this shit.
I'll take my Ford so when you guys get stuck.
Yeah, here he goes.
He's like, that stupid BMW. I heard it.
I sent him a text. I
Can
said,
you
know,
guys build my M8 Lowrider S for 15? We can do a
do a lot
lot
with
of cool
15.
stuff for 15K.
Absolutely.
Flywheel, heads, exhaust, a lot of
Yeah,
stuff.
you'll have an
Shane
absolute
Gazarovski.
animal.
Need you to call him tomorrow.
Shane, I need more done to my bike. Call me. Okay, boom. We like more. So will you.
There was one that kind of scrolled up that I missed, and it said, do we ever do crankcase breathers or drill out the head breather bolts? I don't recommend drilling out the head breather bolts. For crankcase breathers, the easiest way to do that is to either get the Trask and vented top plate for your transmission, or like the fueling vented dipstick, and either one of those are good. There is a setup where you can drill into the crankcase and vent it directly, but really, I mean, it's just going into the oil tank anyway, so as long as there's somewhere for the air to go that isn't into the primary, you're in pretty good shape.
I mean, we don't see problems
No, not really.
with that. I mean, now we run those gas porter rings. That's helping out. Harley's changed some stuff. We run the aftermarket pump every time we build a motor for the most part. I mean, if you're watching this, the 20 Harley pump is awesome for cam jobs and stuff. When we do the bigger builds, we typically change it just because we want everything to be the best it can, and so do you guys. A lot of you guys are
You might as well
requested.
do it.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of things. When you're there, it's the cheapest point to go in there and
Yeah.
actually do it rather than try and do it later.
Well, we're going to recommend something like it's our bike. Every time we sit in front of you guys and answer your questions, we put ourselves, if we had that budget, what would we do to our own bike, and where would we be if we rode like you? That's how we're selecting the stuff, and that's why we only have a select couple guys answering the phones and doing the builds with you. So, absolutely. I heard it. Looking for a 143. We do 143s. I got a 147 going together. You want a 150? Boom, we got you covered. We're just going to tell you what you're going to experience in all of them. We're going to tell you what the 143 is going to do, 147. If you want a big 150 and you don't care if you got to do something with it later, we'll rock a 150 cubic inch, big old 4.60 piston in that bad boy. It's a beast.
Big.
I got a guy named Roy from New York doing one of those. Can affect the tune over time, does it? No.
Well, what will affect the tune over time with that is if you build up carbon inside on top of the pistons and inside the head. So your combustion chamber will build up carbon if you have a lot of unburnt carbon or petroleum in there. So that would be about the only way I could see it could affect the
But
tune.
that wouldn't be a normal operating situation. That is something abnormal.
Or it's just if people that don't like RPM.
Yeah, just lugging the bike all the time. Yeah.
If you
called
run the
blowing
bike
the carbon out for a
consistently at like
reason.
2,500 and below RPMs, you'll build up carbon inside the chamber.
Diamante, good head pipe for an M8. Man, it's kind of hard. It depends what you're doing. and where you're at. If it's a smaller motor like stock, we love the full sack. If it's a built motor, we're going to do our Pro Stock header, which is built by Burns Stainless Steel just for us. It took us a year to develop that pipe. It is a larger pipe. We've seen significant increases in that setup. If you want to know more, call the shop, get a hold of me, Jamie, Aaron. Nick can help you out as well. So the phone number is
And we can
listed
ship
down
those
the
Is
side.
it still right here?
California.
Yeah. That's
Oh yeah, that's right. So can you put the other phone number right there? This is how badass.
well, no, someone might want to call in.
Pretty technical.
Oh, you're going to do it now and then take it down? Love it.
It's right here. It's right here. It's right here.
Can you put it across Mike's face?
This is why our video looks so good, because the guy that you never see, Randy,
Back there doing work.
yeah, he's the reason Justin Timberlake is so famous.
Hell yeah.
That's what you don't realize.
Wait.
Where is it?
Right across your face.
My face too?
Yeah.
Ah,
Aaron's below.
he's a weirdo. It's weird.
Hey, man.
Why are you being all weird?
Fuck. Does your tune have a lifespan?
Yes, it's the life of the motorcycle.
Ron's making fun of you.
That's funny.
Oh, that was an actual question. Oh, I thought you were just asking me that.
No, it's on
Oh,
there.
I have this big moonshine here.
Have
so
you
I can't see until
all
you hit the
done
top.
any turbo builds yet?
Well, if we drank it, you could see through that.
We've messed with all kinds of stuff. I mean, we've had bikes come with Pro Chargers on them and everything. Yeah, if you want something built, we can build it. It's not a problem. It just depends on what you want to do, your expectations, and how much you want. So we're going to go with a Thunder Max tuner on that bad boy and custom do everything. But we will make it one bad bike. I'm getting worn down. We went late.
Yeah.
You guys worn out? Well, guys, I think we're done. We've had a hard week. We love all you guys watching and supporting
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If we didn't get to your question, it's
Next time.
because they were scrolling too fast.
It's Mike's fault.
It was me.
It's Mike. Huh? Shove it. Shove it. You messed it up. I got
A
him.
big shove it.
Shove it, Jacob. It is a Shove It Friday, so when Friday's here, to get it off your chest for the weekend, you get a free shove it to anyone you want. With no recourse, they can tell me to shove it. I don't write them up, send them home. Mike, you could shove it. Huh?
Huh?
I said he makes Mike do that.
Yeah.
Mike does that. I just freak out, run around all day.
Saying, see you next time.
See you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right on. Thanks, guys.
Play the music. Play the music.